did those teams do? Who knocked out City?
I forget, but
It was a Saudi team.
It was a Saudi team.
Yeah.
That knocked City out. So that's my point.
But it was also basically like a glorified preseason.
No, I mean, I agree with that.
I mean,
everyone's on preseason.
Or Pep was too fucking stupid to play Turkey all the time.
I'm just saying it was preseason for everyone though.
Yeah, I agree. But
So,
that's
they
that's
knocked them
not
out.
ideal.
But they knocked them out.
That's fine. Now, my point is get to the Champions League. If you got to buy your way in, you got to plant dead hookers.
I'm sure they
whatever
have
you got
that
to do.
plan. I'm sure they have that.
That's we don't have to have this conversation
Until what? Until they're in the Champions League.
And when they're in the Champions League and they show out.
That's when you'll feel like it's a legit league.
A legit league. No, I mean it's not about being a legit league or not. It's about,
Do you think Saudi's a legit league?
It's an okay league.
Stop.
What?
Stop.
It's an okay league. What? How great do you think it is?
You don't need
Okay.
You already admitted top to bottom, it's not a super strong league.
I mean,
And that's the real issue.
Is England a strong league top to bottom?
It's probably one of the best for that.
It's pretty strong going to the 4th division.
Let's stop.
That's the part you don't want to talk about.
So you're telling me that you feel that Brentford would go to the Saudi league and do? Forget about Saudi. You think because Saudi has real players in the top 5 teams, some of the best players in Europe.
Top 5 teams.
No, top 5, maybe 6.
And I'm still skeptical that 48-year-old Ronaldo's still running around putting in goals.
That's kind of crazy.
Huh?
You can't say it's a quality league when Ronaldo's getting 40 goals.
Stop it. Look at the guys they have in that league. Ivan Toney tore up England and then won over there. What are we talking about here? What are we? I mean, is that not real? Is that not real? Is that and then Ronaldo's outscoring him in Saudi? I mean, what are we talking about here?
What are we talking about?
What are we? No, that's what I'm
what
trying
are
to
we talking about? Because Ronaldo's not Ronaldo of his youth.
Agreed, but that goes back to my point. So they're bringing in top young players in their prime. At least they're in their prime in Europe. Bringing them to Saudi and Ronaldo's still outscoring them. But if he was doing that in La Liga, everyone's going to respect them more.
What are these other young players?
When I say young, guys in their prime. I mean, no, look, Sadio Mane's over there. Sadio's not in his prime.
No, he's like 40.
He's not in his prime.
Stop. He didn't go there washed up.
He's not in his prime.
Okay, fine. He didn't go there washed up. Let's be honest
After
here.
Bayern?
Let's go.
He didn't exactly set Germany alight.
After Bayern, he was washed up.
And I love Sadio Mane, but he's not what he was.
I mean, let's
his
be honest
legs.
here. The Messiah Messi was the king of Europe.
No,
king
fuck
of the world,
that. Fuck that
king of the
autistic
world.
midget.
Messi went to France,
That's
was terrible,
that's
and then
Bo's
had to
boy.
go to the MLS to save his career.
He didn't save
I
anything.
think Messi had 20 goals, 20 assists.
He didn't
though.
save anything.
No, Messi went out with started his La Liga. I mean, his
I think he had 20
league
goals,
career.
20 assists.
No,
I think he was
no,
still
he
player of
didn't.
the year.
No, I mean, Messi's going to be
I
played
believe
here
he
for
wanked a
promotion.
penalty in the knockout round.
Yeah, he did.
And
He
what?
did sell his team in the Champions League.
Yeah,
He missed the PK.
He wanked a
Messi.
PK in the Champions League.
Before he went out with PSG.
He was on PSG.
Yeah, I'm saying before he went out. What I'm saying before he left PSG.
Well, yeah, he left us with a shitbag of a
Yeah, but he
penalty.
was terrible, and that's another conversation too. When you're looking at Barcelona, I'm telling you, got to start looking at these teams for real. Look at Barcelona. Name me one Barcelona player who's the king of development in Europe.
Alleged.
Name me one Barcelona player that has left Spain and has been the man in the world, including Messi.
Says Fabregas.
Hmm?
Says Fabregas.
No, stop. He was a good player.
What?
No, he was a good player. No, he was a good player.
He was pretty good.
He was a good player. That's the end of it. Name me one player. And I'm talking about that's even Messi.
You're talking about like a La Masia player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No,
Name
there's
me
not
one.
many. I don't like Barcelona. I'm here to slander them.
But this but this goes back to my point about development in Europe. So everyone's talking about this stuff, but these guys leave and go to other big European leagues, and they're just good players. But not like Pedri. He's running around taking 9 touches in the midfield, does a simple pass. The media blows it up. Look how great he is. Look how great he is. Look how great he is. No, I'm serious. Though.
I know.
That's blasphemous.
Look, I mean, what's Gavi just could, he runs hard, works hard, makes a tackle, makes a pass. He's better than everyone in
Wait,
South
time
America
out. You
now.
forgot to finish that. Then he gets injured.
Then he gets in.
He's a fragile bitch.
But do you think that there's any disparity or difference in style of plays from league to league that makes a difference? Like, would you say you have to have certain physical traits to play in this league, and maybe in Barcelona, La Liga, you don't need that? In South America, maybe you need something else.
I wouldn't say you don't need that, but this kind of goes back to my point with Ronaldo, though. So because he made the comment when Rio Ferdinand was interviewing me, he said, "Dude, I'd score goals easier in La Liga than I do in Saudi."
For sure, but he's an outlier.
Huh?
He's an outlier. He will perform, I think, in any league. So he's not a good example.
He's basically proven that.
Yeah, no, he has proven. That's why I give him
in
credit.
Portugal, England.
It's like
Yeah,
easy
I
evidence.
give him
Spain.
credit more than I give Messi. Messi's a better soccer player for entertainment. But in terms of adaptability and proving that I could do this no matter where you throw me, I mean, that's real. That's what I said. What he's doing in Saudi, it's not because Saudi isn't good. It's because he is that guy. He is that guy. I mean, I don't think we.
But I do agree with your
like
point in the sense of like I don't think every European player could play in South America. But I think on the same token, not every South American player can play in Europe. Because there are different styles of play, there's different cultures.
Yeah, agreed. But what England and all these teams have done, it's like you look at Italy, right? Italy's been trash for at least a decade now. But somehow their league is more valued than Argentina. It's because they have the money and the platform. But it's not actually because they're doing anything in Europe.
It's only about money.
Huh?
It's only about money.
But that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying their football has been shit for us. I don't know if we're cursing, but
yeah,
it's been terrible. All right, it's been terrible for a long time.
Honestly,
and it's rated valuable over Brazil's league, which is
wait.
In the world, and no, in the footballing industry, it is.
Okay, but here's my thing. I don't think a lot of people see the Brazilian league or see the Argentinian league compared to who's
inside when you're in the U.S. I agree with that.
And then on top of that, you still have most of the best players in those two countries are in Europe, and so there's that feeds the perception that it's a diminished product, but. If you've played 5 minutes in the Premier League, you can go to Serie A and be a star.
Yes.
I mean, that's
the
phenomenon.
Real? Is that real?
Has Scott McTominay.
Well, that's my point, though. Because you're seeing a lot of guys, Lukaku, a lot of guys, like, I'm not that good in England. I'm okay. Yeah. And then that could also be because the way they play in England is terrible. And so it impacts players' game, but everyone's going to act like it's the player. But then if you're looking at the system, it doesn't fit them. And that's when they go somewhere, maybe it's under control. The player quality could be lower. Yeah. And then now they're making a bigger impact. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of elements. But this across the board that Europe is a dominant thing is fake. It's just media pumped with money. But guys touch the ball for England and all of a sudden they're better than a guy on Senegal. Or even in Brazil. And the Brazilian's not good until he makes his way to Europe. And then Brazil just pumps these guys out. Now you're saying they take the best players. Then I want to question that. Now, not that they don't take the best players, but you're telling me Endrick at 16 years old is really the best player in Brazil?
No, I think he's a fraud. I think he's a massive
the
fraud.
guy who was playing for the Brazilian national team, losing the ball every time in the first half. And then they're claiming now because he's at Real Madrid and they were playing him and he's shooting the ball almost from halftime, making terrible decisions.
Yeah.
And then they're starting, and then all of a sudden he has to start on the national team and all this crap. That's what I'm saying to you. So if you're looking at it, a lot of it is shit. It's perception over reality.
When they line up for a major tournament, the majority of those players are playing abroad.
Because of money. But because of money. But then I'm saying, is the medium Brazilian player, who has the most World Cups here? Who has the most World Cups as a national team?
But that's a different conversation.
No. See, why are you separating that? Now let's think about this. So if Brazil has the most World Cups, how is it that even if you take their stars away, some of their stars, because, you take them away, why are we acting like the other guys are not stars now because they're not in Europe? That's just not.
All right, if we're talking currently, if they don't have Neymar, they can't beat a fucking disabled child.
France's C team would be Brazil's A team.
Let's take it easy, but
they win nothing when Neymar's not a part of the setup. They win nothing,
and that's the only argument I'd make about European development versus South American development, because that's why I think it's two different conversations. Because in a lot of those countries, Croatia, all these places, it's about selection. Okay, you have a small defined area of these are the best clubs. It's smaller in scope than, let's say, the United States or Germany, and your only job is to pick the best players that normally show themselves. So to make an 18 elite squad is not difficult in these situations. But if you look at depth in Germany, France, England, you can make like 5-6 national teams of high quality, of players that are at least playing somewhere, even if it is in Brazil or wherever, in top leagues. I don't think other countries, especially the United States, can say that.
See, let's look at that. See, most of the time, from my experience in the industry, there's no such thing as development. It's trial by fire. It's either you survive the environment or you can't. The only thing they're providing you is a platform and activities. There's very little coaching going on because most of the time they're judging, and they're not coaching you, they're judging.
It's selection.
Yeah, they're judging
in a lot of places.
And it's like, can you do this? Oh, you cannot do this, so let's find a kid who can do this.
Yeah.
And it's not actually this. So I don't see any development going on in any of the world. So then now let's talk about Germany. When you're talking about Germany, you're talking about Bayern Munich and Dortmund. And that's it. So it's trial by fire to reach to the top, those two teams, and that makes you a man. Though that makes you the man in Germany. If you don't, and then it's even worse. If you're doing good for Dortmund, then you're like, oh, come to Bayern. And then now, if you do your thing at Bayern, maybe you go to Real Madrid. That's it. So what development is that?
But
and then they're losing to the teams in the United States. I mean, we've discussed this.
But I was thinking that, and I was already just thinking about this all day. Is that
all day?
I mean, the realistic. You're saying something correctly. It's all about selection. But the reality is, in any 18-man team, it doesn't matter if you're Barcelona or Ender Gainesville. Only one guy can be the man on a team, and that being the man is the highest development quality that you can have as a player, because that's the only thing that stretches your responsibility.
What do you mean? Give me more detail when you say.
Like, if I'm the man of the team, and you know that you give me the responsibility that whether we win or lose or score a goal or can not concede a goal, and it's all on me, I develop exponentially more as anyone else around me. And it doesn't matter what team you are and what training you're doing. That can only apply to one or two players. So Barcelona can do. Everyone gets the same exact training, but there's only one player that can be the man and be pushed to the point where he can be a professional. Because that responsibility is the only thing that can make you the top player, a professional player. Otherwise, you're all just average.
That is interesting, because somebody might have been Up in Smoke. They were talking about, like, when you have, like, the Steph Currys, the Dame Lillards, when they go to these smaller colleges, and they are basically have the burden of doing whatever they possibly can do to carry a team. And it's like they come into the league like really free. Like they know how to kind of do everything you need to do to get a team across the line. Where, like, a guy that may go to a North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, he could be a great talent, but, like, he happens to be there with John Wall, so he becomes like the third guy. One guy whose development really speaks to that is Cam Reddish. He went to Duke when they had Zion and the Canadian guy, RJ Barrett, and they were all these 5-star guys. When they got there, Reddish became like clearly the third guy, and you're just going to have to pick off the scraps that these other two guys leave behind. And his developmental arc just went to shit. He stayed 1 year with those guys. He went into the draft on talent and physicality. He was picked in the first round, but he has had a horrible career, just a low-level journeyman. And I think it goes to, like, he basically got subjugated into a role player role at the beginning of his college career in that developmental leap where you're trying to get to pro level.
Does it really work like that in soccer, though?
Yeah.
I think you comparing basketball and soccer is dangerous, because here's what I'm saying. You're talking about a 5-a-side game compared to an 11-a-side game, which you're barely touching the ball, and a lot of it is on your off the ball activity. Generally, that's going to make you a high impact player compared to how many touches you get in a small sided thing.
I recognize the distinction, but what I was going for is where he was going with this. Even an 11-man thing, certain players, kind of the spine of your team, are empowered to sort of be all they can be, and it's the rest of that team is kind of you more or less you play in support of the designated spine.
Like the thought experiment I was thinking is, like, in college football, you can have a team with 10 professionals playing all at the same time. And it's almost because that they boil down responsibility, whether this play happens or not, all into small things. Like, your job as a guard is, this guy doesn't get past me. So you can focus on being the best at just this aspect, and everyone on the team can be doing that individually, and you can have multiple professionals in an environment and a team environment. And somehow I'm thinking that we need to be able to do that in soccer at the highest level in the most elite academies if you want to see, like, a change. Because I think at the end of the day, right now, it's like you can only have one professional because everyone else is
out of an academy system.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For me, it's not the development in Europe is shit or not. The kid in Africa that's playing 5 against 5 in the village and the game rests on him every day is going to be better than the guy that's been at Barcelona but is just passing to Kubarsi.
Well,
because he's the man.
There's degrees to that, because if you go if you deal with people inside that market, they're gonna tell you no, it's better to be at La Masia, or even in basketball, they're gonna say no. I mean, you want to be at North Carolina because you're playing against these top 5 guys every day, blah 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 blah. In comparison to when you're shooting the ball at Santa Fe Junior College and you're being the man. So they're gonna hit you with those kind of elements because they're gonna say you're not really sharpening your ability versus the best for us to know really what you are. Compared to if, I have guys being recruited right now, but what's helping them is that USL2 experience that I could use that to leverage that. Because they're going to say, well, yeah, they're doing it against college guys. Compared to if I said they're playing academy, and even though they're better than the guy who's playing USL2, but if they don't have that on the thing, then they don't trust it, which I do understand to a certain degree, because they're going to say, well, let me see if he could really do that on a day-to-day basis versus this guy in comparison to the other guy. So what I'm saying is, I think in the end, the reason the development is failing because too many coaches are more interested in their personal career than the actual development of the players. Because if you look at what just happened to Chelsea right now, right? Or look at Wilfred Nancy, who got a month in Celtic,
Yeah, that's crazy.
right? What I'm saying is, so when you're, and even at the academy level, most of those guys are thinking about, when I get in this job, let me get some W's and try to move myself up the ranks.
For sure.
They're not thinking about, let me make sure I create a quality environment for all the players to have the best chance to grow. Then let me see what happens. They're not thinking that. They're just thinking trial by fire.
But that's almost like the part where I was thinking needs to change. Like the real challenge in development is, how do I, if there's only a limited amount of responsibility, if it's scarce in an environment, how can I accurately give multiple players this I'm the man responsibility in soccer? And that ultimately would be the highest level of development we could achieve from like a manufactured standpoint. But I think honestly, to the point about we're looking at levels and kind of like saying certain people can't play here, is honestly what's killing what could be the greatest advantage in American soccer, which is you do have multiple funded environments where you could have a lot of people who could be the man in different environments that are equally funded, and there could be a standard of training that isn't maybe La Masia, but it's good enough to reach a pro level of technical ability. But now you have the ability where you have multiple players that could be difference makers at other places. And I mean, you've seen it, like Nelson, for instance, goes to Orlando City is different than, being the man on Legacy. And that's why he has a chance to be the guy that makes a difference than just another player on the team.
But I mean, to be honest with you, I think a lot of that is coming from, that was Orlando's lack thereof, for them not to be able to see. I mean, this goes back to when you guys played them. Virtually everybody that was on my team at that point was listed as, you're not capable to be with these kids. And they have like 30 kids, including Nelson.
But that could almost be an advantage. That could almost be an advantage.
You say that because you had a different experience. Because see, this is why I'm coming in here arguing for the Saudi League and all this other stuff. You had a different experience in that environment. Most other people, you would never even played that game, because they would have said that you guys can't play that level of a team, because if you were capable of doing that, you would have been there. And then they would have said that, why would I put my reputation on the line? Because I just won state title, blah, blah, blah. Why am I going to risk in front of parents and other people going to play a top level team that could potentially embarrass us in that match? Most coaches are thinking like that. So your experience that you had, you think about this, you beat out a lot of kids that were trying to go play Division I, that were in academies, that were at Orlando. So now that it just happened because you're so amazing. That happened because the environment you were in is cultivating a different experience to where now that game. And why is that not happening in most other environments? Is because most people are not thinking about the Saudi League, or thinking about Senegal, or thinking about Congo. They're not looking at it like
nowhere.
that. They're looking at it like they want.
I think Darnell's getting a check from Saudi.
I wish.
That's what I'm thinking.
I wish.
Sold out for the USL too.
It's on the way. He's like,
they're thinking about, how everything is status quo. And if you don't break the just because it's status quo doesn't make it right. And people have to start evaluating these things when they're looking at it. I'm looking at the AFCON the other day, and I'm thinking about, some of these guys are dog walking guys in Europe, and they can't win the duel versus a guy from Uganda. No, it doesn't make any sense. I'm watching Mo Salah struggle against South Africa, and virtually everybody, and I know he's not at...
Mo's been struggling for
He's
a while
been struggling.
this year.
No, but I'm saying is, but Egypt has a lot. Mamouche and all these guys who are hot right now. And they're not doing anything in AFCON outside of looking, good, normal players.
Yeah.
But, you have guys on South Africa who I think 98% or 99% of the team is playing up in Cape Town, Orlando Pirates or Malawi Sundown. And they're moving the ball around like they're Barcelona on these guys. And virtually most everyone in Egypt's in Europe. So what's going on here? That's not making any sense. Why aren't people dropping? Man U needs a 6. Why aren't they dropping the bag?
But that kind of goes back to the same point. Like, if you're taking the best players from South Africa and they all perceive themselves to be whatever I play at. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, even you said this one guy that was playing at Violet and Haiti.
Yeah.
They said was killing the Austin guy. He was the best player in Violette. For whatever reason, that made him a more confident player than, let's say, whoever the fuck from Man United is like a backup winger. I think if you put 11 guys like that on the field, which most countries can, 11 guys that say, I'm the man, you're going to have a competitive team.
Agreed, because I think football, that's what I'm saying. If you look at the media tries to consolidate the talent. Like it only exists here. It's only could be birthed here. I mean, even if you look at this, George Weah is the only African player to win a Ballon d'Or. How could Brazil have all these World Cups, but you can't win a Ballon d'Or if you're playing in Europe? You have to, if you're playing in Brazil, you have to go to Europe to win the Ballon d'Or. That's not even logical.
But Weah was in Europe when he won it.
No, agreed. But my point is, how could you be an African player and you're saying, I have to be in Europe to win the Ballon d'Or? I'm Brazilian, because forget about Africa. We never won a World Cup, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're Brazilian. You're Brazilian. I have more World Cups than Europe.
Right.
And I can't win a Ballon d'Or playing in my home country. But if I go to Italy, who's terrible, I can win the Ballon d'Or. I mean, what are we even talking about now? What are we talking about now? What are we talking about now? What are we talking about? No, there's a caste system in football.
For sure there is.
There is a caste. It's worse. It's worse. It's worse than the goddamn Hindu caste system. It's
really?
terrible.
Wow.
It's not that bad.
No, listen. No, think about this. Think about this concept. Think about this. Dembele won the Ballon d'Or. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let Dembele be playing for Malawi Sundowns, and he has no shot. Correct. And he knows that. Neymar, who was doing unbelievable stuff. I mean, the stuff he was doing at Santos at his prime, where have we even seen that? I'm talking about he made that look like a rec league.
It was.
No.
It wasn't.
No, where have we seen
it? Wasn't
that?
over 32 league.
But see, here's what I'm saying. The caste system, it goes down into youth soccer.
It's just money.
That's why Nelson, no, but think about it. You're bringing up Nelson, right? Mm-hmm. Nelson is a player. There's a kid we had who ended up making the U.S. national team at that time. So he played with kids like Wes McKinney and them who were playing for Juventus and all this stuff. Okay. Scoring against Barcelona and stuff. Nelson was on the team with them. Think about this concept. Nelson was a kid. I can't even get on the... You know when I got Nelson, he wasn't even on the region team. He was on the region pool. They did not call him to the team. No, when I first saw him, he was trying out with Orlando City. And Marcos is treating him like, and they're retiring this guy like he's a legend, right? No, at Orlando, seriously.
I know Mark.
Yeah, and then he's looking at Nelson, and he can't see it. No different. You watched Diamande.
Yeah.
You saw that game when you came to Orlando to watch me. After that game, me and Tyler, I was like, dude, that kid could play on Real Madrid and stuff. And you know what everyone's saying? Oh, come on, you're just saying that because he did your team up the second half. Because they're stupid. I'm serious. They can't. They see through the lens of a caste system. He's playing in a UPSL level, and he's doing these. Mind you, we just came off beating the Columbus Crew. My team just came off beating the Columbus Crew. And Diamande did, and there was no kid. I played Orlando City's first team with DP players. There's no one who's done that to my team. What he did to me this second, no one has done that to me. Mm-hmm. But then because he does that in a Lake Mary High School,
But you don't. Bubba and I deal with this all the time. But Bubba and I do this all the time, though. We're in the basketball, and like you'll run into a guy at LA Fitness or whatever, and it's like, this guy looks pretty good. But like, you always want the test of like, I know this is not the best batch of players. Let me see how he functions with a better batch. And like you always, and we're trying to get guys. Okay, well, let's get him to come here so he can play against some guys that, or whatever, to kind of measure.
But you can see it.
You can see something.
If you can evaluate, if you know how to evaluate a player, if he's that guy.
Well, I saw that guy. I wasn't dumb.
So you can see it. You can see it. But
I was at the
he's
game.
Talking about a group of people who said, there's no way.
The caste system in football. I mean, let's think about this. How is a kid living in Daytona for 2 years, and he's $1 million? He went for $23 million he got to Spain, did his thing, went for $23 million to Lights, and now he's a Liverpool and this kind of kid guy now. And he's sitting in the United States for 2 years. Wow. And nobody could see that. Anything. But then they're selling me about Calvin Sullivan. And Man City needs to drop a $1 million back for this kid. And you're looking at this kid wouldn't do anything to any real level elite player in the United States that's not inside the caste system.
So what was the reason is because he was inside the caste.
Yeah, he's in the caste
Yeah,
system.
yeah. This guy, he's been in the MLS thing. His older brother plays for the MLS team, and when he was like 14, was
Yeah.
when he so he was kind of this guy. But I mean, I've looked at him like I don't see it.
No, not
I don't see it.
no.
Okay, so you saw. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
I don't see it.
He's good, but not
No.
what they're
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to say he is. It's
No.
kinda- it's kinda a
No,
little bit
because
over.
when you're saying like 14 years old, you're talking about a guy
What
that's
Freddie Adu was
supposed
doing.
to turn into no, but you're talking about a guy that's supposed to turn into Messi, Mbappe,
He has to
Lamine
show those
Yamal.
qualities.
That's what you're looking
How
at.
old was he when you saw him?
Who?
This guy you're talking about. How old was he when you saw him?
Probably 15.
15,
Sullivan.
16, 16. No, you're talking about
No,
Sullivan.
we're talking
or
about the-
$23 million guy?
No, Sullivan. I'm talking
Sullivan.
So
Oh.
yeah, probably about 15.
So how can you see it? How can you see it in soccer that early?
So, no, yes, you can. Because think about this. In basketball, you guys see it. Everyone knew what LeBron James, what Darius. In
Basketball's
soccer,
hard.
This
they're
is
lying.
and here's
Basketball is lying.
no.
No, it's the
No, no.
same thing. That's what I'm
14?
trying to tell you.
But
it's
here's
the
what,
same thing.
here's what we're
I'm
talking.
telling you.
They're presenting him as that type of guy.
In the first place. Okay.
Right. It's not like, hey, this guy's 14. He's got some talent. Maybe if everything goes right, he
That's
could be a
how I'm
pro.
thinking. That's how
No.
I'm thinking.
They-
Okay.
like Kevin Sullivan's being raised up as this is.
Okay. So in your comparison, you're talking about LeBron. I understand.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's our in the soccer world. In the United, it's like they're
That-
presenting him as that.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
And what I'm telling you is,
Yeah.
anybody with an eye knows that that's not real.
Right.
I mean, I've watched referees who saw him at the GA thing that I know because they'll do our USL2 games, and they were like, "Man, we just ref that Sullivan kid," and they were like, "Yeah, it's good," but But then Daniel, I'm still getting asked about Daniel now. Like, where's that kid? That was the kid who tore them up the first half.
Yeah.
And what I'm telling you is this: the first half, Diamande was okay.
Yeah.
Daniel looked like the damn man.
Yeah.
So how is he going for 23 million? And then I'm fighting to find Daniel something.
But
The two, and
the other thing is that the mentality thing. Like we've talked, Daniel's got issues.
yeah, listen,
Like,
no, I
like
know
and that undoes a lot of people in
hold-
these things.
I listen.
Could-
I agree, but you know
But,
why?
but what I'm saying, like some of these guys, when they're kind of coming up through this,
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of the day, they don't have the mentality to survive what they're going into,
Hold on.
and that has to be accepted on some.
I listen. Not only I accept. I mean, you've been with me. I'll tell you this all the time. But what I'm telling you is this: Diamande had a lot of holes in his game. That's why he disappeared the first half, because we had him under control. We were dealing with him aggressively. Even then, he didn't even score in that game versus us. He just created all the action.
Right.
But he had a poor finishing shooting product. His off the ball movement was poor. But what he had is real. They do it in basketball. Meaning LeBron, come on. I mean, was that guy could handle the ball like that in high school? No. No, but you could see his impact and know that's real. In soccer, it's just like Nelson. When I saw Nelson, I'm looking at Nelson and saying, yeah, people have what he does well for this youth thing is a big problem. So he should be a kid who's projected to be a pro. They're lying in soccer and they're acting like they're not seeing that because those players are rated to a different standard. No different if you're playing in Norway. Somehow you're not rated like the guy in England who's doing, or Pedro, I touch the ball, make an obvious pass. Oh, you come from Spain, you're better than the guy from Norway. Oligar has to fight tooth and nail to get respect. That's why I said it's a caste system. It goes in all kind of levels.
Odegaard's not the one. Odegaard was Real Madrid
Listen,
at 16.
dude, put
They didn't miss
put him on Barcelona. Put him on Barcelona, and he would do exactly what Pedro's doing. In fact, more, because
For
to be
sure.
honest, looking at my Arsenal, he impacts the final third.
No. But he's saying, I mean, Odegaard's a bad example because he was at a big club at 16,
But,
and he
but part
was
of
on
why
his
he
way.
could fail, but hold on. This is why I'm going back to Daniel. Do you know that every game, including against Orlando, that I played him against an MLS team, every single game I played him, Houston Dynamo, Orlando City, Columbus Crew, all of them, he scored goals and tore them up, including when he was at that UCF Combine with all these Clemson and all these guys, and I'm not coaching that. That's everyone else. And they're putting him on the 11 with all the draft picks and all that stuff like that.
Right.
So my point is this, though. Yes, when he went somewhere, he failed. But part of his failure, I'm telling you, is because you have caste system coaches.
Yeah.
So when they see
understand that.
certain things he has in his game, because that's why I'm going back to Diamande, meaning how is he worth that much? And nobody wanted to drop anything on him. And I know kids who know him. So it's not like I don't know what was going on with him. Guys that were peddling him around to Orlando, to other teams, they didn't even value him. Looking at him like, well, maybe he could play in our academy, then we'll see what he could do. And he's scoring hat tricks versus MLS pro reserve teams. But then they're going to nitpick at his game and all this bullshit. I'm telling you, what's going on here is very real. And you see it within the results. Because you got to ask, look at the United States. How are we not producing the Diamandes here? Where it's like, look at that. Not we're making a star, like Pulisic. We're making him. Meaning he's a good player. But, you know, that's as far as it's going. But they're selling you as Captain America and all this bullshit. Right? But no, seriously. But then how is it that we're not producing the guy?
Is there the talent here?
Of course.
That level
of course there
talent
is. I mean, these teams are the caste system academies are going to playing the European teams and beating them. But then you have Orlando City who can't make a UPSL playoff. Top 5 playoff. They can't make it. They can't make a playoff. What's going on here? I mean, what's going on?
I mean, I agree with the first premise that in the United States, I'm going to just say United States. I don't think it really happens as much as you're thinking in Europe. I think at the end of the day, there's an incentive that they have to take the best players. And I've seen personally guys from the 6th division.
Because when I lived in Mexico, I didn't see any guys playing amateur ball. And I was like at some legit amateur games because I had some friends. There was the only time you would see a guy be like, yeah, he played pro already. You know what I mean? And that's it. But there was no one in the amateur world that was like the UPSL amateur world that was like, because even their like Guadalajara would put their U17, U18 in it to get extra games. There was no one in those leagues where you're like, how are you guys dogging Guadalajara and why is this kid not attached to anyone? Right. But in the United States, you have all these MLS academies playing in a men's amateur league and none of them are winning. How does that even make any sense? And they'll be U18. I'm going to Virginia. I'm going to here. I'm the kid who's going to be signed to the pro reserve team. And you can't beat a guy from Miami who's working in Walmart.
Now, you're asking the question, but your answer is caste system.
Of course it's a caste system. Okay. I mean, how else would that... How else could Diamande come out... Like, Diamande and not say I had to turn down money here why I went to Europe. That means, I mean, Jesus Christ, if you're not Diamande, I mean, you might as well just retire.
Is there another reason, or you agree?
I mean, I think he's right about the caste system, and I do think in the United States, they undersell impact, and they prefer how it looks outside of what the output is. So I think he made that good point with Diamande.
Explain that a little better, though, for somebody who's wouldn't know what you're saying.
Like, I think maybe you see just on paper that this guy scores 20 goals, and then you watch him in person, and maybe you think, okay, well, he's not as clean as maybe a guy that maybe gets 5 goals, but he looks like an MLS product player. And I think the clear selection method that is also in Europe, if this guy scores 20 goals in the 5th division, next year he's playing in the 4th division. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. What level he did it at, against who he did it at, he did this product. We're going to move him up to the next level. That's what selection looks like in a good environment. But I think he's right here that they try to separate these levels too much, and they say, okay, well, if he did at the USL League One, which is the 3rd division, we don't think he can do it at the championship because he's doing it at the USL League One, even though technically it's a 2nd division. So the best player that plays USL League One, or the best 20 players, should every year be going to the next division, if it makes sense. Because otherwise, they're just playing in a league that is only going to cannibalize itself.
So really, I think to kind of summarize, like in a proper developmental idea, when somebody thrives at a lower level, it's automatically bring them up and see what happens. And I think in an overly negative environment, the same product, instead of like, hey, he needs to move up and see if this continues, it's looked at skeptically. He could probably only do it here. That's the only reason this is happening, rather than moving it up and being like, hey, you basically passed this level. Right. Let's see where you are in the next level.
I mean, look at Benji, who did very well for Orlando City. And I knew his brother well. You grew up playing around him. And this kid went through trials and tribulations that I could never understand. Because every time he stepped on the field at the youth level, he's a monster.
This guy, like Bryson played a weekend with. He's a little bit older than Bryson, but Bryson was invited to play. 1 year. But he was invited to play a weekend with Benji's team, and it was a pair of games, and that was the first time I saw him close up, and I was just like, I was blown away. I'm like, this guy's fucking unreal. Like, compared to everybody, and it again, I never.
There's a kid who got cut from the Orlando City Academy when it first started. Do you understand? Was on then when there's all these MLS academies, so they don't go to this thing called ODP, which they used to do back in the day, which is like an Olympic development, but it's been watered down because the top kids just try to get onto the MLS academies. Benji goes to that after being rejected from Orlando City and can't even make the ODP state team. Which is a watered down Florida team because all the top kids are in MLS academies in Miami.
And Bubba,
Orlando.
when you look at this guy, like, it's all there, like, extremely athletic, fast, strong, good size for what he was. And then when you're watching him play, like, you can't take your eye off of him. You're just waiting for the ball to come near him so he can do some great shit. Like, you have to be blind.
But that's
not
kind
to
of the
see
point
this.
where, like you said, that there's some things you can see that someone does that regardless of what level it translates. And I think that's true also for soccer. And the number one thing is speed. It doesn't matter what level you play at. If you're fast and you can control it and get to the goal and be impactful, you can do that at any level. And that's the truth about Diamande. Like, he's not a crazy dribbler, but he's fast enough at any level. And I think that's also what you're saying with these AFCON teams too. Maybe these guys don't look like, Ousmane Dembele with the ball, but if you put them in any game at a professional level, they're fast enough, physical enough, and controlled enough that they can make an impact.
And what I'm saying is they have the quality. I'm looking at South Africa, and I'm saying, like, Germany will play in games and struggle to move the ball around. And I'm looking at South Africa, boom, boom. I mean, they played Dortmund, for example, in a preseason thing, in the Club World Cup that happened and everything. And Malawi Sundowns loses to Dortmund 4-3. Who that year, didn't they make Champions League final?
Leading up to
year before.
Year before. So they're a quality team in Europe.
Yeah.
And you have a South African team who's losing to them 4-3. So what I'm saying, but then none of those if you take those South African guys and you look at their market, now they get paid well in South Africa and live a good life, but if you look at their market value, some chump in England who's playing on Brentford is worth that whole team.
Yeah. And so, context wise, like in soccer, like basically the players are bought. Like, so if you're playing for a team and a bigger team likes you, they're going to offer your club $20 million, $30 million to buy you, and then you become a part of that team. So that's the thing, like how those players are evaluated, probably next to nothing, And then, like I said, you'll have some random dude for a Premier League team, and his valuation of $40 million. It's like, wow.
But to that point, I think, so at some point, and I agree with you, there's a lot of bullshit that goes on, but at some point there has to be a filter that stops you from looking at everybody, because it's impossible to look at everybody. So it does make sense logically that if I'm a Premier League team and I'm looking for players that can play in the Premier League, that I'm going to go with the percentage-wise most successful players in the Premier League, which happen to be people that are from England, that grew up in the system. So they would automatically be the most valuable in my league, just like anything would be most valuable in your home or your team to your needs.
And actually, you know what? I agree with that. But that's what I'm saying, what's actually happening. So what they're doing is they're valuing their own and they're propping it up, back to my Saudi argument. So really, what you really got to do in this world is get your money up, get your platform up, and value your own. Because a lot of other people are just bullshitting. So they're going to tell you, because you play in South Africa, or because you play in Algeria, or because you play in the Ghana League or Ghana Premier League or whatever, or the Brazilian League, which has more World Cups than everyone in Europe, you're not valuable until you come to our platform. See, that's a I pick your president up and move you over here move. Do you see what I'm telling you? That's exactly what that is. It's a caste system. Yeah. And so until you do your own thing, that's exactly how they're going to treat your players.
But the other thing that we haven't overtly mentioned is most of the guys that we're looking at and claiming undervalue are black.
Yeah, no, that's real.
I mean, that's a big part of this discussion that we haven't said yet.
There's reality to that. I mean, that goes back to what I was saying about the caste system, right? Because it's a real caste system, because it's racial, it's nationality. Because you could be blonde haired from Europe, but I mean, if you're from Bosnia, listen, you and the other English guy, we can't have a conversation right now. That's real though. Yeah. And then now some of these high impact players from Africa and these other places, or black South Americans, you don't have value like that because this is where you're from. And so it's like they're going to play that game with you. And then some of these kids here struggling in the United States, that's going to happen to them too. Because you have this caste system mentality that where you come from, who you are, what you look like, what the club wants to promote. And then now all of a sudden, I mean, what was going on in basketball and football in the United States back in the day? What was going on?
The all-white team.
What was going on? What was going on back in the day?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
You had HBCUs playing closed door games, beating North Carolina and Duke in that behind closed doors. And even when you go into baseball, what's the guy they took from the Negro Leagues? What's the guy they took?
Jackie
Robinson.
Yeah.
But even when you look statistically, he wasn't even the most dominant player in the Negro Leagues.
No.
Yeah. He just fit
a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
But they saw that and things changed. So what I'm hearing, we're in 2025, 2026, and soccer is still this way. I'm not understanding why is it
because where's the
still the
demand?
case?
Where's the fact that you have to be educated on the conversation is the problem. Because what I mean is, if it's not a main sport, what pressures France? I mean, I looked at, like, when I was growing up in football, looking at it kind of in the mid 90s, for example, right? Where I started to, my eyes could remember things. And I'm looking at the mid 90s going into the early 2000s. Then now all of a sudden I'm looking at teams and I'm like, oh, I didn't know Germany had these kind of guys living in their country.
Yeah.
I mean,
as
because it wasn't diverse like that.
It is, but it mirrors the story of racism. Because when Darnell first came on the show, we were talking about gatekeeping, and he was saying, I remember one of the quotes that stood out. He said, if you're looking at a European team that has a legitimate black population of some numbers, and the national team is like 85% white, there's a problem. Something's wrong in the gatekeeping of the game. And now, reality over the last probably 15 to 20 years, like a lot of the high-level clubs are, quite honestly, blacker and blacker and blacker. That's the way the game is moving. But there's like a lag because you still want to promote the white face, the this, that, and the other. But the way the game is, I mean, that's France-Argentina final. By the end of the game, France had one white guy on the field. That was it.
And that wasn't happening in Platini's days.
No.
And I'm all about, play who's the best player. But let's stop playing games there. I mean, Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic. That's what that is. He's dominant. That's what that is. But, don't pass me, some guy just because that's what you want it to look like. And then now you're trying to act like Diamante's not Diamante can't even be worth, whatever. But in Europe, he's $23 million.
But put this in context. The guy we were talking about before, Kevin Sullivan, who we're not overly impressed with.
Yeah.
Take a guess.
Well, if he's 23 million.
No.
No, I'm talking about Diamante.
Take a guess.
From Ivory
Coast.
6 foot black.
That's who they want to promote. But it's happening in all different areas. And like I said, it's even beyond race, because if you're from a certain country, then, it's like, good luck proving yourself. Yeah. Like, you could be European, and they're going to be like, well, this guy's from, Serbia. How good can he really be? Can can he win this kind of play at this kind of level?
Yeah, that's a lot different than the other sports. Because I was also thinking, like, as baseball has a good system where, like, because you move up levels and it's
to the minor leagues and
minor leagues, and they have all of that stuff.
Well, soccer has.
No, they have.
I know they have. Yeah, what I'm saying, but I don't think there's like a caste system in baseball. Is what my point is.
It's really just the United States he's talking about mostly. I mean, he's talking also on the league level, but United States is where
it's a worldwide caste system, dude. Because I'm saying
when you go league to league, but if it's just about in a certain country, in Germany, there's 6, 7, 8, 9 leagues, and it's all you move up.
Yeah. No, with the U.S., I mean, think about it. They have the MLS Next Academy. They have MLS Next Pro now.
But then there's a disconnect.
Huh?
Between MLS Academy and MLS Next Pro,
there's disconnects even within every... I mean, I know some of these organizations. Some of them will just tell me, look, they'll say that word. We have a disconnect between the academy and the pro side. We're not even talking about the first team. They're just talking about Next Pro. Yeah. Where they're saying they're bringing in guys from wherever country that they know they have academy kids who could just do that. So that's just an agent knows this guy and they're going to push their player.
Yeah. No, so, for sure. And I never mentioned, you're on the bench. Podcast with Bubba and Pig, Home of Sports, Music, and Mayhem. We've been talking about soccer development, and we've also been talking about the caste system and how players, I'm learning so much I'm learning so much here. I wanted to read a couple of comments too. Well, you got Marcus comment. He says,
Shout out to Mark.
he says, what's this guy's name? Sadio, Sadio.
Sadio Mane.
Okay, he went to Saudi League on the retirement bus.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Oh, man, you text this guy to make a comment. He's manipulating the chat.
But one thing I wanted to come back on you when you talked about comparing the basketball and soccer there, because when you were talking about the development and you were saying about if you get 11 guys on the field and you say that okay, each one of them feels like they're the man, they're the guy, then you have a good product. But that's not like that in basketball. If you get 5 guys on the court, you get 5 Luka Doncic, 5 LeBron James or whatever, that's going to be really bad.
Exactly, and I think that's to the point where like you do see these big threes not working out for that reason, because there still can only be one guy. I really mean it just specifically in the terms of youth development. Where how do you increase, like, because the problem is this: you have Barcelona, and for as good as their academies are, selection, all this, at the end of the day, the under-19s will produce one professional player.
Yeah.
And the question is, how can you manipulate that to give even just 4 players the chance to be a professional player, when we're living under this constraint that there's only one person possible? And you see in college and also high school, you can still have 3 to 4 guys go D1, 3 to 4 guys go pro, just because it's a smaller game. So 5 people carry more responsibility, and you also just split the roles up equally to say, okay, this guy can be a really good center rebounder, and this guy can be a really good ball handler, and not really go at each other like stylistically on the field. So my question would be, and like I think the next stage in development, because there's already a lot of taking more ownership in the players, making the training sessions, the lineups, a lot of these academies are trying to do that. But the real question is, how can you manipulate responsibility so that everyone or more people perceive that they're the man and develop like the man in a situation at top academies?
Can a parent still feel good? A parent that doesn't know anything about soccer, but wants to put their kid in soccer, and then somehow their kid just, naturally gets good, or they're, naturally gifted or just athletic or whatever. Can they feel good about their child coming up in development in whatever, say Florida, for example, just in this type of environment? Or do they need to make plans to go?
I don't think anyone's, I'm telling you, I have to stress this a lot. I'm just telling you, I don't think anybody is developing. When I say anybody, I'm talking about on the industry. I'm in an MLS academy, like something that counts. I don't see that. I just see trial by fire. You get into an environment, we give you some possession activities, right? You run the possession activities. Who looks good, who doesn't look good? I make a couple pointers. It's not, Bryson, you need to play like this and look to do this and look to do that. And then after that, they move on, each year until they just funnel up who made it out of that. And that's it. And they're doing the same thing. And from what I could see, I went to Switzerland, right? Stayed with this club for 17 days. Watched their U19, and they're a good competitive club that will play clubs like Inter Milan and preseason their first team. So I'm with their 19s looking at them. And what I see is that very little coaching in terms of like, fix this, fix your body positioning, talk to this guy, that. It's just a lot of, we run these activities. Who looks good, looks good. I went to South America as a player. Spent a lot of time there. I mean, me and Bryson went over to South America, him as a player, me as a coach. And we're beating teams over there that are producing, top end guys that make it out of South America into Europe.
Yeah.
And how is that even happening with a club out of Gainesville? I don't care who I assemble. That should not be happening if they're really doing all this kind of coaching with these top end kids.
But what are we defining as development?
That's what okay.
Because I think, there's like, I was skeptical of like a lot of skills training, like in terms of either soccer or basketball. I feel there's a lot of people out there that do a lot of drill stuff that doesn't connect to game activities and stuff like that. I'm skeptical of it. But kind of through a little bit of experience here and a little experience in other situations, like I see the value of that because of the isolation. Now you ultimately have to function in the 11-person unit, but like you said, if you're at a 2-hour training session and you're doing these drills and you're doing some other drills and you're doing a little scrimmaging, the individual focus on you is not always there. And like you have to have, some outlet where your individual game can be worked on. And I always feel like I think it's almost criminal for you to train a player on an individual skill basis if you haven't seen him play a couple times.
Yeah, because you need to know.
You have to have context.
Yes.
For the player that you're building, and you can't build every player the same. My belief, you've got to say, okay, this is kind of what this guy does. This is kind of how it works, and then we build off of that to expand that.
100%.
You know,
the game development to me is the way you get the player to see the game. That's development.
Yeah.
Not individual qualities. Like as a coach, because if you want individual quality, that's you stepping aside with a kid. Say, I'm gonna work on your left foot. I'm gonna work. That has nothing to do with the game in terms of you giving him information to play better. Right. If you look at it, there's wingers like Neymar, right? I could ISO you and dribble out of a phone booth. Then you have a Sadio Mane who's more, I'm gonna power pace you to get around you, and then just look to execute, play pretty simple for the most part.
And that goes to my point, like when you see kind of what those guys are, but there's things that you can tweak within the context of their game to give a bit more diversity, a bit more balance.
And to me, that goes here.
Absolutely.
That goes how you fix them, how to see the game to maximize themselves, which will create bigger impact.
Yeah,
development is what you're saying.
That's where it is.
Yeah.
A lot of guys think development means how I'm going to get you to touch the ball. Let me tell you something right now. It's like you could take a kid, once a kid is not a dribbler, like I could handle the ball like that. I've trained a lot of kids. You can make them better with the handling the ball. You're not gonna make him a dribbler. Now you can make him handle the ball better than what he is. But the best way to help a kid is it's like Bryson's game, right? Bryson's game is a 1-2 touch game. And he has a motor. Oh, that's what he has. And he has
last couple years it's changed.
He has a motor that could go up and down the field. He's a box-to-box player, right? More than likely should be some kind of wing back because he could work the line and he has to control to get the services in and things like that at the highest level. That's what he brings to the game.
I'm sorry to cut you. Help me out here. Dribbling and handling. To me, that sounds like the same. You're breaking it as a difference. What do you mean?
Because handling the ball means I have the ability when you play me the ball, I could set the ball and go where I want to go. Dribbling means I'm going to look at you and I'm going to dribble the ball around.
Go by you.
I'm going to go by you.
Yeah.
I'm going to
it's like an isolation dribble. Like I'm sizing you up and I'm going by you with the ball.
Okay.
But handling the ball is kind of the broader context of I receive the pass, I pivot and move to the next man. Maybe I take a little bit of dribble touch to draw somebody, and then I'm playing. You know, when the defense becomes out of balance, that's kind of the handling. But the dribble is literally, I'm going by you.
More complex?
No, well, it's
no. They're all, it's its own art form in itself.
It's instinct. It's like going by somebody with a dribble in basketball. It's like some guys maybe your crossover is your thing. Maybe it's just a quick first step.
It goes.
It's
the way you see the game, and see that's what development is. So when I get Bryson, it's my job to see. It's like you have Bryson and Nelson. They both were cohesive on the same team. They both impacted. Because see, we're not beating Orlando City's academy if he's not doing his job and Nelson's not doing his job. Do you see what I'm telling you?
100%.
But then at the same time, I have to make him understand he's not Nelson, and how you're going to be the best version of yourself. And then now, how is he going to do that? By making him see the game and be like, this is what you do well and how you're going to maximize yourself in this. Now, if he's saying, I want to work on my 1v1, so if I do have this moment, maybe I could pull that out of the bag. That's something you could do with him on the side. But when you're talking about you're a coach and you're doing a team environment, you have to be able to identify them as individuals first to see where do you fit in, what do you do well, how you're going to impact the game. And then now get them to get on the same page with you so they're actually working on doing that inside of every activity in their own way. Do you see what I mean? But that's why it's complex.
Exactly.
And that's why you don't have a lot of people that could actually develop a player. See, it's every generation I go through this in Gainesville. No, listen, like every generation that leaves, they always think they were the one. Like everyone. No, like, oh, we were doing all this. It's over in Gainesville. But every year we've managed to leverage it, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of development going on. Because I also couldn't be as impactful as I've been if everybody was developing. If those kids in Orlando were truly being developed like that, then those guys couldn't have caught them like that. Yeah, it would have been harder. But it's because a lot of also you got to accredit misidentification, meaning some of those kids should have been in that environment. But then also the maximization of what they're being taught on saying how do you impact the game for yourself. And then what that other kid's being taught. Back to my Daniel argument. Daniel also needed somebody, this kid that I'm talking about, that to me was virtually on the same level with Diamande in his own way. And much better than Diamande in certain ways. And Diamande much better than him in certain ways. But it's almost the same thing you're looking at. Is because, and I played him in a bunch of MLS games versus pro teams. He scored every single time. But then he went to the MLS and dropped one goal. And now his team was terrible that year, mind you. But it's also because who was dealing with him. So they're looking at him right away thinking, this kid's from Haiti. Look, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. I need to just go with this kid. Even though they're still terrible. So, I mean, they're still terrible anyway. Yeah. But I'm saying is they can't see how to maximize. I watched this kid play against the U.S. senior national team. Daniel. Yeah. Senior national team during the January window in IMG. And he tore them up. Senior national team. But then, at that time, he was 17. But then that kid is working at Walmart in the United States. Now, partially because of his mentality, but I'm saying that's 25% of it. Because let's be real, when you watch the story of Benzema, right? Karim Benzema, you heard about him? No. Ballon d'Or winner, how many years ago, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about Benzema as a kid where it's like, his father was begging them to take him in the academy because they're like, look, if you leave this kid alone, he's just going to end up being a bum in the streets. Even so much so where he's having scandals with his friends, even as a major pro. That's to show you how many issues he had around him. Brazilian Ronaldo, ask anybody, the El Fenomeno they call him, right? The number 9. They'll say that, it's practice. This guy looked at practice like, I just got to warm up because, you guys want me to do this, but it's really about the game. And these are top-end coaches who dealt with this guy saying that's how I look. So don't tell me this guy didn't have all kind of mental issues. But at the end of the day, they were smarter to get him to function. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm telling you? And so they're missing out. I know what they didn't see in Diamande because they put this thing where... Do you know what they told Benji? What? They told Benji, you're not Kaká. But he's 18 years old, and you're comparing him to a DP player, meaning you're getting max money in the league, not just at Orlando. So you're putting him at some standard. Like, well, how are you even looking at him? And you're telling him he's not Kaká. What are we even talking about here? So they're cutting these guys down and looking at them in certain ways instead of just judging their impact. Yeah. So there's a lot going on here on why you don't see development. Because one, a lot of them are not capable of doing it. And that's real. Yeah. A lot of them are not capable of doing it. And so that you could see on the global scale why you don't see these big changes and transformations within teams. Because if you did, then you would see more of that competing. I mean, even in Germany, you have like the same couple of teams competing for the league, but then everyone's supposedly developing. How does that even make sense? How does that even make sense? And you have all this money to buy. You have all this money to spend on players. How does that make sense? But they're developing where? Barcelona, Real Madrid, or Barcelona. Every once in a while, Atletico throws themselves in there. But then Spain is developing. What are you developing then?
I think that's like development in general is a buzzword because
agreed.
Like I said, I've been thinking about this a lot. I really think it's just about, because it happens everywhere. We see proof of it every time. It's just about were you in a situation that cleared the threshold of technical development, got you to the point where you could play at a professional level. But after that, the only thing that really matters is did you perceive yourself as being very important to this team to the point that it stretched you to be better than people that also had your skill level. And everything else, everyone can do. There's no secret to making this a professional level player technically. That's all science. They've got this, you only have one bicep. You can do as many different bicep curls, you're training one muscle. So there's no special formula that they're doing this better than that. But I think it just matters like this situation. And that's what I would say when you're looking at what's best for my kid. Well, the best situation theoretically for your kid is to put him in a situation where he thinks he's the man. And you as a parent, and I think this is also where you do see the help from American parents, some other parents that really believe in their kid, somehow brings their kid further than maybe he would have got if no one really believed in him or just kept him playing at this like little team that he didn't really give a fuck about. So that's what I would say in terms of like what's the best situation. Play at the highest level possible where your kid still feels like he's the best player there or very important to what's going on.
But it's hard because the parents are chasing the validation. Because remember, if you're not inside the MLS Academy or you're not inside this ECNL thing, then it's like, am my kids going to be able to make it to the next level? Because are they going to have the platform and the exposure to do so?
But it ultimately translates to playtime and opportunity. because there'll be a ton of parents that seeking the validation, they're going to go to sit on the bench of the MLS Academy and play 20 minutes every 2 games. Same with like an AAU team. Oh, I'm on the, whatever big time AAU team, but you ain't playing, dude. Yeah. And you're not getting better on the bench. It's kind of, we had this discussion in the context of the Thunder and all of these draft picks that they have. They have a brilliant team. They don't have a lot of space to empower new draft picks into the rotation to get the playing experience and the confidence. Okay. They have several picks over the next couple of years. Unless they're willing to kind of rotate out some of their peripheral core pieces and create opportunities, they'll draft a bunch of talented guys who will languish in the G League and bite off of spare minutes here and there, and those players will not maximize whatever their potential talent level is in that situation.
And this is the best development.
But can I give you? I'm gonna push back on I'll give you the other side of that, right?
Sure.
Because say for instance that you take that same example, and then you have a guy like Shedeur who turned down the Ravens because he didn't want to be Lamar's backup. He ended up in a space where he could play in Cleveland. But Cleveland is it's a worse team. You don't have the playmakers around you. You don't have so it's like, did he make the right decision or not? Because he has the places to play and develop, but nobody believes in that coaching group can really develop anybody.
Here's the difference I think in that situation though. Like, and I don't think he necessarily, I mean, Cleveland was ultimately a bad situation other than getting on the field, which he was able to do. But Harbaugh just got fired. We don't know what the Ravens situation is going to be looking like going forward. And there's a chance it could be every bit as shitty as Cleveland if they don't get the right guy in place. So we don't, and that's the thing, you don't know. It's kind of short-sighted stuff. I mean, there's another world in which he could have just gone to Cleveland and Lamar gets hurt, which he missed a couple games this year, and he would have gotten opportunities on the field if he's the backup.
You really don't know.
Yeah, at the pro level you can't. But I also think you gotta
it's different.
You have to look at it as like if you're talking about a young player like that you're a parent of. Yeah. You have to look at it as like a year-to-year thing. An opportunity like with Darnell's team could be good for 2 years. And then he could kind of over-recruit you and this, that, and the other, and now you're a peripheral guy, and you might need to reassess and say, I need to get to a situation where I'm a core guy, an empowered player.
But I'd hesitate to say that at some point, not everyone's meant to be the guy.
No, I 100% agree.
Or like in the sense of like, okay, if you're not playing at the under-19 legacy, like we're a good team, but if you're not playing,
watch it.
But like you need to call it, like you need to say, I'm not going to be a professional player. That's also reality. Some people have to understand.
Well,
not everyone's going to be a professional player. But like I think what you said with the Lamar Jackson thing, also the fact that Lamar Jackson went to the Ravens, was the backup, did get his chance, and it worked out beautifully. But like incompetent situations are incompetent situations. So I don't think it matters what quarterback you are. If you go to the Browns, it's a shitty situation, even though it's playtime. So I think that also has to be taken into account. Like, yeah, you want the opportunity, but that doesn't mean you go to any opportunity, like especially in youth soccer, because you can definitely find, incompetent coaches in competent situations. What matters is you have a good coach, and then second is that you have the role, I would say.
Well, but again, and it goes
But I also say don't leave. I don't think you don't leave every year, especially when you're like 12, 13, 14, 15, a little bit older, sure.
No, what I was saying, you have to look at it year to year and assess where you are. And like your career was that. Like when you were a youth player, you got in situations where it was pretty good. Like FC America wasn't a bad situation. Then Orlando City was kind of okay.
No, I know in the.
So it's not always like that you're getting necessarily, you're not playing. I put that as the initial example. Right. But you could just be in a team that doesn't function well, and there could be a better opportunity for you at another group. And ultimately, him going to you was a better opportunity.
Yeah, and
at that time.
And the platform matters too, because you have to also the ambition. And when I say the platform, meaning the ambition of the organization, because there's MLS academies that are just MLS academies. Yeah. Meaning like, they're just looking at these kids like you're not the kid that's going to go to the next pro. So we're just babysitting you until you're out of here. And then we just move on to the next kid. So you have to see the ambition of what you're around. That's the biggest thing. Because if the ambition's high, then everything else will tend to try to follow. Yeah. But if the ambition is substandard, then you could be, doesn't matter where you're at. It's not, even in soccer, you have guys, look at Jude Bellingham. Jude Bell, even Sancho, as much as that's not kind of working out, but compared to maybe just being a city guy where I'm not going to really play, at least he became some kind of known name where people have to deal with him because he left. And it's the same thing with Bellingham. Because you can't, he went to Dortmund. How many English guys are leaving to go to Dortmund if they're really getting love like that in England? They're not going to do that. Yeah. But he left because of that scenario, and now look what it did for him. Yeah. So you got to go into circumstances that are you need to. Most parents don't understand who they're dealing with, just like most owners don't understand that. Like I can't understand an owner. It costs $500 million to just try to get into the MLS platform, right? And then you're gonna tell me you're like, if someone's like, hey, we gotta go play, Real Madrid tomorrow, you're gonna be like, look, we don't have the team to beat those guys. But you have to put $500 million up. So that means that you're dealing with people who can't grow a company, aka your organization, to be of standard with less resources, but that's why you're also being hired. Because you're supposed to be intelligent.
Yeah, that's why you're
to be able to maximize your circumstances. So that's why I said there's a lot of lack thereof in the sports world in general. But I'm just talking about soccer.
Right.
Because you have a lot of people who are saying that basically, well, I'm this, so we can't be that. And that's just crazy to me.
No, 100%. No, I understand. All right, we're gonna
hit some topics.
Yeah, hit some other topics here. But I do wanna, because I wanna hear you guys and what you have to say on that. Pink texted me about the USL.
We kind of absorbed all that.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you're still on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. All right, appreciate. That's some really good stuff, man. Let's go into the world of basketball really quick. We're just going to speed through a few of these topics here. Okay. One of the biggest news topics here in the NBA is Trae Young. All right. He's on the trading block for the Atlanta Hawks, and his agent came out today and said his preferred trade destination is the Washington Wizards. There are two other teams that made a call to the Hawks, one being the Minnesota Timberwolves, which I always think is interesting, and there was another team as well. The Wizards have a firm plan in place to get him because they have a guard there who is on that expired contract. CJ McCollum.
Yeah.
All right, and then they want one of the best shooter, Kispert, I think his name is.
Yeah.
As well. I look at this from two different ways, the Trae Young thing, right? Because you can look at it from, okay, his preferred destination is Washington. You think, this guy wants to go there. It's a non-competitive situation. He knows, because he's going to be up for another contract. He knows he can get another max deal in Washington. He's a big get the bag guy. You can look, get the bag guy. You can look at it from that angle.
That's the way I look at it. I mean, Darnell was talking about ambition and everything, and this motherfucker has none.
But
I
also look at it as Washington may not be a terrible spot for him.
Stop.
It may not be. Alex Sarr is becoming a real player. He leads the league in blocks. All right. Wemby leads in blocks per game, but Sarr is the total blocks. And even blocks per game, Sarr is second. And theoretically, that's the type of guy you want behind Trae, because Trae is a terrible defender.
Right.
And if you get Trae and you get Sarr and you get CJ's fat contract away, you're building something. You have to start somewhere when you're a bad team. So I can see a scenario where they start with these two guys. This is a really good draft coming up here, and then you're cooking. Now your stove is on. The stove is on. You're preheating.
Maybe you're preheating. You ain't cooking. Maybe you're preheating. That is a trash ass organization. It's been that for a long time, and that ain't changing anytime soon. For him to select Washington as his desired destination is basically the statement of his career.
Yeah.
Give me a bag and let me just be me. I don't care about anything else.
It's the absolute only team that would extend him at the max contract.
Right.
Yeah. Because even Minnesota.
So he
is that wrong?
A lower contract.
Is that wrong?
For what?
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
Is what wrong? Specify what?
Just I'm just gonna get the bag.
Yeah. I think
call it a day. Why is that wrong?
It lacks ambition. I don't think you put the work in to become a great player to just collect a bag and sit there and live out your days on a shit team.
You know, that's interesting.
There's something wrong with you internally, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, but you got to look at organizations. I mean, I think some of that. What's that word I'm looking for? When you get jaded by an industry that has kind of been rooted in those things, meaning financially, where you have certain players that are not even getting carries, getting subbed off because they know, like, well, you know, if he hits this carry right here, we're gonna have to pay him this kind of money
for sure,
all this kind of things.
Yeah.
So I think when you have that kind of, you know, language going on inside of a league, should you not, like, okay, I got my value up individually, I'm my own company, I need to go get my max dollar because I'm only going to be able to play in this for so long, call it a day.
That's fine.
Thank you for the
You
career.
have ceased to care about your career, and you've just made a
You
business
know,
decision.
hold on. Did he?
Yeah.
Or he's like, you
Yeah.
know, no, my career was I'm playing in this league to get some money.
If that's your ambition, I'm not that guy. I don't respect those people.
Let's go into this because, see, in sports, people do this to athletes. But let me ask you, in whatever industry you're in, not, you know, athletic related, if this firm is, hey, man, we're going to drop this bag on you right now, but, you know, we're going to stay at this kind of platform, meaning we're not trying to do anything, but we got the money for you.
If it's
who
not,
wouldn't do that?
If it's not sports, I really don't care.
So you would just do it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, well, hold on.
But no, the premise of what I said.
Okay.
If you take the time and commit your life to being great at something, and then you just you become jaded or cynical, and it's, hey, I'm just gonna chill and get money. Like, that's your decision. You're entitled to do that. I'm not obligated to respect you for making that decision.
I agree.
It's that simple.
But I'm saying, shouldn't that be, that goes back to the Osimhen conversation.
Should be what? I should have the free will to think of you
No,
as I will.
I agree.
And you have the free will to make the decision. There's nothing to discuss.
No, yeah, you know what's the discussion? Should most athletes be thinking in that pattern? That's what I question.
It's bad for the game.
I think you see it a lot in the NBA now.
I know you do,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
bad.
why
A
people
lot
don't
of
watch
guys
the
sitting
NBA.
out because they're like, you know,
Yeah.
well, I'm
and
injured.
that is bad for the product.
It is bad for the NBA.
But how did that get formed?
Lots of ways.
So you got to drain the swamp here. Because what I'm saying is the owners.
Don't even couch this in the language of that motherfucker.
the owners have created this kind of environment.
I think it starts at the grassroots. I mean, people don't even play AAU to win anymore. High school's not really to win anymore. It's a showcase. College, you play 1 year. If you lose in the tournament,
But
it doesn't matter.
That all started from the top. All of it started from the top.
I think it started from the bottom. I think
Nah.
the AAU guys and the parents wanted a bag, and now it's been about getting to the NBA.
I blame the Spurs
Why?
because they were the first ones to start resting. And to be honest and to be fair, they had an aging roster and it made sense. But then it became a prevailing mentality because a lot of these leagues are copycat leagues.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worked for the Spurs. We need to be closer to what they're doing. And then it become an NBA thing, and then it trickles down. And you got dudes showing up to high school games and AA tournaments, totally cool, taking a rest and wearing a suit. Like, dude, what is that?
Yeah, but it's coming from the top.
It started with the Spurs, their bench.
I'm not talking about. I wasn't talking about the wrestling. I'm talking
No,
about
no.
like the bag talk. You know,
No, well, the back talk. What are we saying?
Bag-
like
get
he
the
said,
bag, crew, get the
everyone
bag.
just wants to go to the NBA
Oh,
and just
get
get
the
a bag,
bag talk.
and no one really
Yeah.
wants to win the championship because like from AAU,
sure.
it's like let's just get professional, and like it feels like the whole college system, all this is just showcasing.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
nothing to do
also-
with winning.
Also, you got to take a look at Trae Young. The league is transforming and changing right in the middle of his prime, and it's nothing he could do about it. The league is going away from small guards.
Yeah.
Who score like when he came into the league, it wasn't like that. Like, you know, if this was 10 years ago, there'd be 6 or 7 other teams lining up to take Trae. Now there's only, you know, one that'll be willing to give him a big fat contract, and it's not really his fault. Like his own team, the Hawks, they have this 6'7" monster guard that is like
Yeah.
I can't put Trae back out here because he's killing it, you know, and Trae Johnson,
Yeah.
or whatever. So. I don't know. I don't know if I this is one situation where I'm like, you know, if that's what you
At
know,
the
it's
end of the
cool.
day, he was irrelevant as a Hawk. He'll be irrelevant in Washington. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
That's true as well.
I mean, we're talking.
For me, just at least he should at least gone to a contender.
But
Then I would have been
don't-
kind of happy.
I don't think a contender wants him. I never viewed him as a winning player.
Like I said, the Timberwolves made
That's-
a call.
yeah, I like that.
That's interesting. Now, like I said, he would eventually have to take a pay cut. He wouldn't have been a max contract player in Minnesota, and then also he'll be a secondary player in Washington. He's going to be the man.
Yeah.
And in Minnesota, He's second or third behind.
Big fish, small pond.
Yeah, so it's,
And I don't know.
that hurts your brand too.
That's
away from being the guy.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know, and I would really be interested to
Think
see
about that. What you just said there, though, it hurts whose brand?
his brand.
I know, but that's what I'm telling you. So if he went to somewhere where he's not the guy,
Yeah.
then it hurts his. That's what I'm saying. The system itself.
No, but
It's set up for the guy to think about.
He's
I need to
cooking.
just be
Or-
in
I
an
don't, think
environment.
I don't think you're cooking either.
I think he's cooking a
No,
little bit.
because I think when you as an NBA player drift off into irrelevance, that is bad for your brand. He is having an utterly forgettable career. He's put up numbers, this, that, and the other thing. And what I was going to is like, what is the value of your post-career when you have this? Basically playing in two losing organizations into the decline of your days versus a guy that has always been associated with winning and championships and things of that nature. Draymond probably makes more money off the court than Trae Young does now. And I think that'll probably continue.
And Bradley Beal, low-key, nobody gave a fuck about Bradley
That's
Beal
what
when
I'm
he's
saying.
dropping like 50 points at the Wizards. So.
And who cared? And
But
who's
the
gonna
league cared because they gave him
They
a
gave-
maximum
but-
contract.
That's
but
what I'm telling you.
my point is though,
Right.
he always went for the bag, and that's all he ever got. And he's gonna be a guy most people don't even know if he's active or not right now.
I don't.
Like he's gonna be a guy that is. There's no TV money. There's no podcast money. There's no anything. He's
He'll
just
be
gonna,
like a Parks run on YouTube.
Hey, come
in a
on, man.
couple of years.
Podcast money
Devontae
is just
Freeman.
like, do you have a loud mouth? Because let's go into podcast money. You have most of the guys who are making the biggest money in the podcast never even played sports like that.
Right,
Stephen
right,
A.
but-
Smith. What's that? Skip Bayless. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're the top of it. The players to me are getting smart now.
They are.
You have Iverson, and then we're like, I'm gonna kill my career at the 76ers so I could be like Jordan or something, win it here. When he really should have been like, where am I gonna put myself in the best situation to maximize myself? And that's it. Like, people used to dog guys for that. And I think LeBron was one of the first ones who was like, fuck that. I'm just gonna, go where it makes sense for me. And it kind of run his own market.
Wise.
Huh?
Team selection wise.
I think team selection wise, the way they deal with the league, meaning they're looking at this like I'm my own business now. So I need to watch what I do and maximize this thing and not get sold on. That's why I thought with Osimhen, back to soccer for a second, was stupid. You could go to Saudi and get that Saudi money. Even Mbappe, you could go to Saudi and they could drop $1 billion or whatever they're going to say for 1 year on you. But no, because I want to play at Real Madrid so I could be remembered, blah, 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 blah. Dude, wake up to the reality of the real world.
See, I think that's bullshit.
No, it's not.
I do think it's a bullshit.
That's
take.
bullshit.
No,
It is
okay.
bullshit.
It's
a
bullshit, right?
take.
But think about this: why do people go to the Prem? Why do people go? Because the competitive. You look at the Prem in the '80s and the '90s. It was a bunch of Gareth Southgates running around.
They all say in the
And-
interview because it's the best league in the world.
No, they go to the. You know why they go to the Prem? You know why they go to the Prem?
Tell us.
Go look at the bag in the Prem compared to every other league. They go
That's
to the
fine.
Prem to get the money. They go to the English Premier League. That's what they call the Prem. They go to the English Premier League to get the money.
So you're saying
The
why
English.
not go to Saudi to get the money?
I mean,
It's
what
the
are we
same.
doing here?
What's the difference?
What are we doing?
That's not why they're going.
What are we doing?
That's
here?
what it is.
That's
Oh,
why
you-
they go.
oh, you
No,
said-
because now the Prem. Here's what you're gonna say. Well, the Prem has the best team.
No, they got
That's what it's
they got the
marketed in
jerseys
America.
and they got the jerseys in their bedroom when they're like 5 years
Yeah,
old. They
yeah.
all got it.
No, they do.
Liverpool.
Good
For real.
marketing scheme.
For real.
It's
What
a
I'm
dream.
saying is
It's a dream.
They give the back. Like, you could be on a mid-level, lower-level Prem team,
Yeah.
and you'll get paid more than a Champions League team in Spain, right? Than a top 4 team in Spain. Not Real Madrid, Barca, but let it go down.
Well, let's say then 3 through 5.
Yeah. So no, but I was
The
just
fuck
saying.
is that?
No, but I'm just
That's
saying.
a horseshit
no,
argument.
no, it is true though.
That is a horseshit.
So
argument.
you're telling me
you're saying a top 4 team and then you had to exclude the top 2. That's a bullshit. argument.
Okay, fair enough.
Take the
Fair-
fucking
yeah,
L.
I'll take the L there. But my point is, though, they make that much money in England. That's why they're all going there. So England is not some when you're saying England, don't think it's a bunch of necessarily English guys running around there. They're just giving the bag. The English guys that could stay in the Prem, they'll jack their value up to $50 billion to buy them, and that'll be false. But I'm saying everyone's going for the money. Now back to basketball. They're, to me, getting smarter because they realize, oh, this is an industry. And this is not about me being a little kid trying to have a dream, because it's not a dream up there. It's the real world. So I need to be intelligent about the moves that I'm making to secure my money before my career is over. And that's just the truth of it. I mean,
But
most of these guys can't even get a podcasting job when it's over. That's real money.
The point that I'm making though is if you are associated with the high level teams and the winning and the glory, your post career looks a lot different than if you're had 12 good years at Brentford.
Good point. But you're chasing the 1% player. You're chasing.
But we're
the
talking
1%
about
instead of
Trae Young, and we're talking about Bradley Beal and guys that had high levels of talent.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about guys that are just being fortunate.
No,
to be
I'm
in the
talking
league.
about I'm talking about being remembered. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, Robert Horry won a bunch of rings, but no one's talking about Robert Horry. I mean, and he was a big player. Rick Fox's debut is in Denzel and Spike Lee's last movie.
That's another great point though, because Trae's not a part of the 1%ers. I mean, like,
No,
it's
it's
a
not,
good
but to me,
chance.
it is just a lack of ambition in his career. That's what it is.
Stop. He has ambition. He's going to get the bag. Listen, I met this little light-skinned kid that once told me cash is king. Okay?
I didn't say that. Yes, he did. He's talking about Trae.
Trae. You mistook him for Trae.
Cash is king. So they're going to get the bag. And
We
only
know
because
what they're doing.
so it's ambition.
So do you respect it?
Huh?
You respect it?
Yes, because they're playing the real world. This is the real world you're playing in.
Nah, come on.
You got it's playing the real world. The owners did that.
As a sportsman and a competitor, you respect that.
As a black man, he does. As competitive.
Listen to me. As a sportsman and a competitor, I would say that what I respect is that if you're talking about the sport, but we're not talking about the sport. We're talking about an industry.
We started talking about his move to the Wizards.
No, but see, here's what I'm saying. There's a difference between. I guarantee if you talk to Trae Young and you're saying you're playing a 5-a-side tournament in whatever area you grew up in, you want to be on the best team. You want to try to be the man. You want to try to win. But now when you're dealing with these industry people, you better make moves to get your money. And that's the end of the story. The sport and the league are two different things.
Here's the other thing.
Do you see what I'm telling you?
I understand what you're saying, but the guy ain't broke. And he ain't going to be broke.
Yeah, but you might as well just keep getting the bag, man.
If that's all you're about, man.
No, that's what the league is about.
No,
that's what the
he's
league
making
is about.
that decision.
He's kind of cooking there a little bit. Though.
No, he's not.
That's what the league is about.
The man. Fuck off.
But
No,
that's how they think.
To be fair, he started the man talk.
I know he did.
Yeah, but
I don't respect
but
either
I'm
one of
saying
them.
there's a separation between the league and the sport, though. You see what I'm telling you?
I understand the business side. I get it.
Yeah,
and when guys are at a lower tier of this, I understand it.
No. I'm saying from every
I
perspective.
understand that's your application of it, and I understand that there's an impact. But when you are at a certain level, and I think Trae Young's at this level, you got money. That should not be deciding every factor that you're making, and you're not going to be broke. So you can make decisions, or you could throw up the white flag. If this guy wants to throw up the white flag, good. I didn't like you when you're in Atlanta. I don't like you in Washington. I don't like you when you're out of the league. I don't give a fuck. You're pointless.
No, man. You gotta go make your money, man.
He has.
He doesn't get it.
We're gonna float to a
I get it. I mean, just what? Dear, take a bath in money. I mean, it don't matter.
take a bath.
Fucking jerk off with it. Stick it up your asshole. Make yourself happy.
We're gonna float to another NBA topic here. I don't anticipate we're gonna stay here long at all. Zion got caught up with another OnlyFans girl, exposing him. Okay, this is maybe the 5th, 6th one. I don't know. It's just his thing. She says that she's pregnant by him, and she had a video of him. Like, he couldn't tell that. I guess that she had the phone out. She was trying to sneak the video, but he was just walking around the house doing different things. And then she has the little.
What type of different things?
Like fooling with the TV and stuff.
Oh,
like
okay.
That. But then no Diddy stuff. And then she had a little screenshot of like a check that he sent her. I think $20,000 or something like that.
So what? Hush money? Or?
No, it doesn't. Like, it's no
context.
It's like a Venmo screenshot.
To stay in
She just wanted
context,
to
get the
show.
bag any way you can get it. Get knocked up by an NBA guy. It's a pretty good living.
I mean, this is what we're dealing with now. I mean, you're the one who taught me about. You're the one who said something about women a long time ago. I don't want to say that on this podcast.
Please do.
But you talk about relation. You said all this stuff is transactional.
Yeah.
So now when you're looking at these women on OnlyFans, I mean, what's going on?
You don't have to be on OnlyFans to be transactional.
No, I agree. No, that's my point.
You don't have to quizzically look at the camera and go, "What's going on?" We know exactly what's going on. You were a straight up fucking hooker.
Yeah. I mean,
That's it. And you got close enough to this guy that he knocked you up, and now you got a paycheck for the next 18 years. Well played. Trae Young's proud of you.
To get the bag. He's welcoming her to get the bag.
Maybe they can
I think
How bad is this on Zion? A lot of people are trashing Zion.
as they should.
Should they though?
Yeah. I do think that,
he's messing up.
He's too sloppy. He's too
Yeah,
sloppy.
he's-
He's
yeah,
too sloppy
that-
with
he
it.
there
is
is
sloppy,
there is
but-
a way to handle business, and he ain't handling it.
Yeah.
And I like Ant Edwards, but he's fucked this up too.
Yeah, he's
Like
so
you got to be in control of these situations.
Who's
and
that?
when
Edwards? Who's that?
Anthony
From
Edwards
T-Wolves.
for
Oh,
T-Wolves.
from T-Wolves, okay,
He
yeah.
had a couple baby mamas and all
Yeah.
this stuff and whatever. Like there is just a way to conduct business. If it's payoffs, if it's NDAs, if it's making people disappear, like you just gotta handle it. Like it is what it is. Like I hate to see
Making
this.
people disappear.
It's just it's
Yeah,
stupid.
but you know where that comes from, though. You know where that comes from. Look at his naivety. No, look at his
Yeah,
naivety.
that's it.
Because someone was not teaching him the difference between relationships and transactional relationships. Going back to sport and league, but I'm just saying.
But I don't think that part is what I'm talking about. I don't think that's that bad.
What you mean?
Being a professional player and you just want all transactional
Yeah.
relationships, especially
No,
being
no,
that
but
young.
you gotta be
But
a,
you gotta
you
be-
gotta be
yeah.
a good businessman.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't be knocking these hoes up.
No, you can't be doing that. And then also, the sloppiness of it, I think is bad. Too.
That's
Like-
it.
Like
That's all.
I've heard of some like some girls say they'll go to this one girl said she went to a Ben Simmons private party, but like you had to put your phone up and all of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
before you entered.
No, there's a
whatever
way to
happened,
do this. And I think there's a valid argument. I think Grant Hill said it years ago. It's like when I'm in my career, I'm not thinking about relationships or being married. Like I have a desire for sex, I'm going to make sure that that's satisfied. But you got to get through that career, and then like on the tail end, if you want to settle down with somebody, have kids, do that if that's your desire.
And that's the part of it I think is okay for him, like to just do straight transactional
Well,
stuff.
but the problem is we're using the worst example to make the argument. Like,
True. Yeah.
like you're making a guy
messed up.
that is stepping in shit
and what is
every other
and what is
move.
transactional? Because
Yes.
I mean, that transactional means I did this and it's over. But
Yeah.
he's just locked in now for 18 years and millions of dollars. That's,
That's
not
what I'm
That's
saying.
just not.
Yeah.
She won from that situation.
Hell
He
yeah.
lost a lot.
Yeah,
1000%.
A lot.
that's why Trae Young's clapping right now.
And then I can't even understand why these guys, I mean, there's just other ways to get that done.
Yeah.
Without you saying I'm going to Only, because you have to know they're on OnlyFans for a reason.
He picked a bird, He could have just gone to some Eastern European country, Colombia. I don't know. Get some. I don't know. That's
But
crazy.
that but again, like the
It looks
thing.
like this. Well, she's from South America somewhere.
But like the other thing,
like
the other thing that's like sloppy too is like our guy locally, like Anthony Simons and the guy from Duke that I don't
all
like.
smashing the same.
They got a kid with the same. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
in
Who
the
wants
same
that in
time
their
frame.
life?
But people
Like for
are-
real.
People are very what's that called, man? They
Weird.
deal with what's in the room. Someone was asking that, like, why a lot of the
Yeah.
rappers just mess with the same people.
Yeah.
It's because they're at this party, then that party. I mean,
They're
look
in
at
the-
Diddy,
they're in the
50,
same. They're in the same social
circles.
circle,
Yeah.
and I do think, like to a degree, there's something of an understanding of the expectation that you're not necessarily like here to get married or whatever. I think the girls that float in that scene, some of them are looking to get come in, but others are just looking to just have some fun and get some gifts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they probably feel safer with those people in the way that they're seeing them do it with this guy. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I should be good.
Yeah.
1000%.
Like you pick up some girl at Publix.
You
or
don't know
something.
what the hell she's
There,
thinking.
she
Yeah.
really thinks, oh, this is for real. Like,
Yeah.
But it's just the impregnating of people that really bothers me.
No, that's crazy work. That's ridiculous. Let's move to some American football here. We have a very big college football game coming up here. You got Miami Hurricanes versus Ole Miss. All right. Pink's rival in the Miami Hurricanes, being an FSU alum.
Why do you keep bringing that up?
I don't know. They're our rival too, but I just think it's interesting.
When you suck, you don't have any rivals. Like nothing matters.
That's not true.
It's 100% true.
When you guys play, they're gonna say this is a rivalry.
I don't
game.
care what they say. Like we're a bad football team grinding through 60 minutes of ineptitude. There are no rivals. The rival's in the mirror and it's kicking your ass.
Well, next week we're gonna talk about the off season that the Seminoles and the Gators are having. But this week,
Do we have to?
yeah, I know
It's too far gone.
rough.
It's terrible.
Rough. I know
It's just terrible.
I know. But what I wanted to take from this game here is the Lane Kiffin piece, because I mean it's just been a lame dog here for a few weeks as Ole Miss wins and progresses each week, and the craziest thing to me is if they do get to a national championship game, like what does that say for a Lane Kiffin who left them, and he's going to take the coaches there with him to LSU that are there. That's just a crazy story and a crazy situation, man.
I think it looks like a crazy story, but I don't think it is. I mean, I think it's quite simple. Like, his departure galvanized the team. Like, they didn't necessarily have to hate him, but like they're like, we've got this opportunity now.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna go play Georgia, and they're gonna go play Miami, and they control their destiny. And I think that that's what they've bought into, and they're a really talented group of players. And I think that they're extremely locked in right now. I think the Lane thing is something that media people like to talk about because he is just such a weird guy, and there's a lot of peculiarities. He kind of tried to, have his cake, eat it too, do all that stuff. And at the end of the day, he was the only coach who took a new job away from a playoff team who didn't get to coach his own team. Yeah. JMU did. Tulane guy did. The new coach, I think he's on the Oregon staff as an OC. He's still coaching with this team, and then he has that other job. So Lane just screwed this up for himself by the way he tried to have everything. And I don't have any sympathy for him, and I think he's kind of a non-story, and it's about these guys beating Miami.
How much pressure is going to be on him to win if Ole Miss does advance to a national championship?
He has a ton. When he took that job, it came with a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
LSU didn't hire anybody to go 11-1.
Oh, you said even aside from the whole
Hell
Ole Miss
yeah.
situation.
Hell yeah.
Just in general with
Yeah,
LSU.
he's going to feel weird personally and individually if this group that he coached up for 12 games wins this national title. And he's not going to get the credit for that. It'll always be a weird thing. But when you take the LSU job and they pay you that money and they have an expectation of winning, that pressure's on you. I mean, he understood. I hope he did. He's not that stupid. But that's what it is. And if he doesn't win or get super close in 3 years, he's going to be gone.
Do you allow him in the champagne room if you do win? Lane.
Hell no. Hell no.
Didn't he want to coach though? It was Ole Miss that didn't let him.
Yeah, because he kept dicking around with them. They were trying to give extensions, trying to communicate with him, and he kind of he just played it badly, and they made the decision, hey, you take the job, we're done. You either extend with us and do the playoff or not. Yeah. He didn't do it that way. Now, again, it's a little different in the sense that, the job he's going to is in the same conference and ostensibly the same level versus a JMU guy going somewhere or a Tulane guy going to Florida. Yeah. And so I always think in those situations when you're at those smaller schools and your head guy gets an opportunity, there's always a little bit of goodwill that I think goes that, hey, we understand why you're making this move. We wish you the best. But Lane's move just school to school is a little different. And I just think that he didn't play it really well in terms of communication and understanding with Ole Miss and LSU and what he wanted to do. I think he tried to be a little shady. And if he didn't commit to LSU until after Alabama beat Auburn.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of people that believe if they had fired DeBoer that night, he would have changed everything and gone to Alabama. I mean, Lane Kiffin is
He's an
a
enigma
dishonorable guy. It's just what he is.
No.
I mean, he can coach some offense and what have you, but that's what he's been.
100%. Quickly moving again. I wanted your opinion, Pink, on the Browns. We danced around it a little earlier here, but what will the Browns do? Will they choose Shedeur? They have 2 high first round picks coming up in the draft, but
do we know how high?
Their first pick is 5th or 6th. So it's not going to be, from what I'm hearing, it's a 1 quarterback draft as far as a game changer, which is Mendoza. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm not sold on him as an NFL guy. Mm-hmm. If that Ole Miss guy goes in, I like him a lot. And he's apparently trying to fight for eligibility. You don't like him?
Is there enough?
Kyler Murray, man. That's
He's
what he
big.
is.
Hasn't Shedeur been
No,
doing
they're
well?
both
He's not a little midget.
He's not more than 6 foot.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm gonna
Check it.
Pull his stats.
Pull up Trinidad Chambliss' size.
Isn't he 6 foot or a little bit shorter?
Every time I hear that name, I think about Trinidad James.
The Oregon quarterback's 6'5".
No, he's not. He's the small guy. You got it mixed up.
Nah.
Chambliss, and you say size, right?
Yeah.
Pause. All right. He is 6 foot 6'1".
Okay.
The Dante Moore guy's 6'5".
Dante Moore's not 6'5".
Yeah, 6 foot 170.
Who is?
6 foot 170. Trinidad. Yeah.
Trinidad, 6 foot 170.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's a little guy.
He does not look like he's 170 when he's playing.
Yeah.
From your view.
I see another site that says 200 too. So.
All right.
Yeah.
I like him
But you
though.
still like him, yeah.
I'm
He
still
makes
not
plays.
sold on
He
Mendoza.
makes plays.
Yeah.
So we'll see there. And the trade is official now. So the Trae Young is going to the Wizards. Just became finalized for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert.
Damn.
All right.
CJ McCollum.
But yes, on Shedeur, I have some numbers for you, Pink. Wanted to see, what the Browns should do. Now, as a starter this season, completion percentage of 59%, that ranked 35th in the league. A touchdown to turnover ratio 8-10. That's last.
I don't think this. I mean, here's the deal. The stats are what they are. They're not impressive. You're not making a decision. He didn't play well enough from a statistical perspective that you're going to make a decision based off of that. But it's going to come down to who comes in for that job and what they think of Shedeur. And I think that's going to be.
How is he done? I mean, all the things I see seems like he's doing, making an impact in moments, I should say. But I don't know if he's doing well.
In moments, but statistically it's poor. I think he said it's 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Yeah.
Statistically, it's not great. There was one big game where he threw for a lot of yards. Most of the other performances have been relatively little amount of yards. He's usually had like 1 or 2, maybe 3 big throws in a game. Not a ton. He's still taking sack. He's still wandering in the pocket.
How is that for rookie standards, though?
Average. I mean, average for a guy that gets starts. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, there's plenty of rookies that just don't touch the field or whatever. So I think the performance was very average. To me, the thing with Shedeur, he does have like a self-belief that's above average. Mm-hmm. And he believes he belongs, which I think is kind of a little where you were going with kind of that feeling and empowerment when you know you're the guy. And again, he was treated like anything but the guy for most of this year. And he was kind of, from a personality perspective, unshaken by that. Mm-hmm. And I remember we had some talks when he was at Colorado and they had a very bad offensive line. He got hit a ton every game. And it would always stood out to me as like he never looked deer in the headlights. He never looked broken by that. He'd pick himself up, jog to the sideline. Very seldom did you see him like berating guys for not blocking.
He has a good personality.
He has a great personality and demeanor, but the performance has to get better. The performance we saw through the time that he played this year was not guaranteed starter performance. He, from a playing standpoint, you can do better. You could probably find better, whether that's in the free agent market or whether it's in the draft. So I don't.
But the Browns' offense has been ass for a long time. So new coach is coming. So give him a year.
Is that? Well, that's the next thing I was gonna say. Some of his stats, meaning is that all the way him?
No.
That's what I was gonna say.
So is he doing good
for a rookie in a not good
in
situation?
A bad offense. I agree with you.
So that's to be
I still, as a whole, rate it as average. Mm-hmm. To me, he did take some sacks. He did throw some picks that potentially could have been avoided, could have been better, and he'll probably admit that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a high-powered offense. I thought for the most part the play calling seemed pretty conservative when he was in. There is the issue too where he was not part of goal line package multiple times, which again maybe over the course of the games he played, credit him for another 2 or 3 touchdowns if he's in those situations. And so forth. But again, I thought it was average. It wasn't enough that I think anybody's like, we found our guy, we love this guy and what he's doing. And so I think because of that, I think he is vulnerable to the new coach. It may work out where they like him.
Do you think they're going to use their highest pick, though, to say we're going to get a QB and get this guy out?
It depends on what they feel like is in the draft.
Yeah.
Because like I said, most scouts are saying it's a 1 quarterback draft, which, of course, that guy would essentially go number 1 to the Raiders, who desperately needs a quarterback, too.
Yeah.
My thing is that I don't think the Browns can afford to run it back with Shedeur. I don't think so. Because like you said, you need one more year just to even really figure out that was supposed to be this year to really figure out whether he could play or not. Yeah. Then you're going to need another year to figure out what he could do or not. And then after that year, it's like, okay, if he's, it's because what I think about is when you the Browns, they have holes to fill, right? And I think it's just for the next couple of years, if you run it with Shedeur, there's just always going to be a set number of excuses. And I don't think that does him any good in his camp. And I don't think that does the Browns any good. Because what's going to happen is if you come out and you have a subpar a year again, right? What are you going to say? Oh, well, who does he have to throw the ball to? Maybe we need to go get a number 1 or number 2 receiver. Or the receiver we did draft, he's a rookie. We need to give him another year or two. And you're not doing either party. I think you need to part ways with Shedeur. Let him go to a team that's more whatever, has more, and can build him into the offense, a la like a Miami Dolphins or something, just throwing a team out there. Okay? And they need to, I think they need to pair these 2 draft picks together and trade for a quarterback. That's what I really think the Browns need to do, and get a set guy in there.
Who do you think is a quarterback that could be traded for, like that's genuinely accessible?
There's a few out there that just are much better options. I mean, Kyler Murray, Tua, both of them are better quarterbacks than anybody that the Cleveland Browns have in their quarterback room.
I think Tua is irretrievably broken. I don't think he plays another good stretch.
Murray's not a bad shot.
A broken Tua is better than Shedeur.
Not a broken Tua.
He is.
A broken Tua is comparable.
I mean, what he's shown on the field, it's better than Shedeur. The numbers and what has happened, the games he's won, all of that. Like, I mean, Shedeur put up 300 against Tennessee.
Who is the best rookie QB this year?
Cam Ward.
Cam
Ward.
And then who was second, third?
It wasn't a ton of rookies to start in the first place.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart.
Jackson got some buzz.
Jackson Dart played well when he was in. Jackson Dart was really the best rookie quarterback this year.
I don't think Shedeur did enough from what you're explaining to say, put it on me and then go get something else. But I definitely think he's showing something.
He's showing enough to compete.
That's what I'm saying.
Because what they're going to do, and I'm not totally against it, is I think they're going to make a quarterback move, whether it's in the draft or free agency, and they're going to say, okay, let's have a true competition. The problem with that, though, is you have the other guy coming back.
Well, you have to get here's what I mean mechanically. If you want to give Shedeur the opportunity to just compete for the job, you have to get rid of Dylan Gabriel.
He has to go.
If you don't like Shedeur or whatever, you got to get rid of him.
And that's like number one thing you have to do.
You have to do that. You have to make a decision on those 2 guys. It was stupid to draft them both.
In the first place,
They basically got in each other's way of opportunity.
Right.
Reps, practice, training, focus, all of that. And so you can't go another year with that being your scenario. And so you have to make that decision. And then you make the decision, who's legitimately available that we can get either as a free agent or, do we like a guy in the draft? Do you like Dante Moore? Do you like whatever? You're not going to get Mendoza. Do you like one of those other guys enough?
And then have a true competition. Because like I said, you have Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I'm skeptical about true competitions. I think that they're kind of BS.
What do you mean?
Well, what else can you do?
I just don't think I don't think you ever go in with just a true open competition. I think there's biases and prejudices that the coaching
even
staff
with
has.
a new guy, even with a new coaching staff coming in,
for sure.
But they haven't really seen those guys.
He's a value.
Well, they probably seen.
No, but what I'm saying, like you're gonna just start to make evaluations. Like when you walk through if I'm the new coach of the Cleveland Browns, I begin assessing. Well, first of all, I'm probably going to watch every snap that he played.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have that right away, and then I begin my evaluation process of him when I shake his hand, and everything that follows from there. And he's got a chance because of the personality. He could win that. He could win the locker room. He could win the off OTA stuff and just kind of like almost assume that leadership role and carry himself that way, and the unique qualities of his personality make that a possibility. I can't rule that out, where he just kind of, it just feels like he's already the guy. If he does that, then you don't have an open competition because it's slightly going to favor him because he's had the head start.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, and the coach just doesn't really vibe with him, and then he's comfortable drafting or acquiring another quarterback, he's signaling that this ain't open competition because I'm not really sold on you, and I need to find out if there's something better. No, and I think the guy I'm bringing in is better. If I didn't think the guy I was bringing in is better, why the hell am I bringing him in?
Yeah, most of the time as a coach, when you're saying it's open competition, you're just saying the guy that you think is going to win it needs to win you over still. But you definitely have a bias on who you think is going to win it. But you're just saying it's not outright done because the guy that I already think is going to do it, I need him to show me.
He got to go out and do it.
That's really all that means. But you definitely have someone you think is ahead.
No, 1,000%. And yeah, I don't want Tua anywhere near a team of mine. So I want to make sure. That was like a slight joke there. Moving on to another coach, John Harbaugh. We kind of alluded to him earlier as well. Former coach, right? All right, so he was let go from the Ravens. I put up a post yesterday on social media that a lot of people commented about and was texting me about anyway.
Really?
But I was saying that it's not John Harbaugh. It's not the problem. The players are the problem. Yeah, what I think. Yeah. But at the same time, I do think after 18 years, I do think it was okay for the Ravens to move on. Like I don't think there's any foul play or anything at all. But I do think that, especially NFL, man, there is so much energy put towards coaches when things go wrong.
Yeah.
And I just think that the Ravens have had all of these players, he has put these guys in perfect situations. I mean, you got a kicker missing a 40-yard kick. You got Lamar Jackson fumbling the ball 3 times in a huge playoff game and in a pick 6 interceptions. You got Zay Flowers fumbling at the goal line.
The Mark Andrews drop.
Mark Andrews drop. You got Derrick Henry having his most fumbled year of his entire career.
And then the other one
these guys are in position.
The other one I thought was huge on Sunday night was when Kyle Hamilton had to leave the game.
Yeah, early too.
Pretty early.
Early.
I mean, there's so many things, and that was an incredible game to watch Sunday night.
Yeah.
And obviously his career was in the balance. I didn't necessarily 100% know that, but like just that game, like that's how thin the margins are. Like it's just this trudge tractor pull for about 3 quarters. And then in the 4th quarter, it kind of opens up. Both teams are answering each other. And then you get down there, the guy slipped, so the Steelers score. Then they wank an extra point that would have given them protection with a field goal. And then 55 seconds, couple timeouts, the Ravens get down to make an easy makeable field goal and miss it. Like your careers are defined on such thin margins sometimes, and I don't have a problem with you. He's been there 18 years. He's got a Super Bowl. It's been a great career for him. Probably a new voice is okay. Maybe a new culture is okay. But there is a certain cruelty in the margins that the game separates these teams. Yeah. And that's tough.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, maybe even if Justin Tucker didn't get so into massages, like he would have been, he was the best kicker in the league. He was the best kicker in the league for a decade. Close. Yes.
And then all of a sudden, the massage stuff comes out, and he becomes
apart.
the worst kicker in the league.
Yeah.
That's so fucking weird. And the same thing happened to Deshaun.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson was like a rising quarterback in the league. You wasn't really high on him.
No.
But he was performing.
Yeah.
He was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It was him or Mahomes. And then all of a sudden, the massage stuff comes out, and he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
What massage stuff is going on? Were they going to massage parlors or something like that?
Yeah,
they got caught.
Hand jobs and ass play and stuff like that.
And the women come out and say that they, made advances and that they're into.
So it's illegal. It's illegal or illegal massage places.
No, these are like they
massage
were like
therapists.
Well, but they were even like Deshaun was like hitting up chicks off of Instagram and stuff, saying, "Hey, would you like to give me a massage?" And then at some point in the massage, he kind of makes the sexual move.
Yeah.
And some appreciated it, some didn't. And I think the thing is, it's not illegal where you're going to get like prosecuted per se, because it's kind of a weird consensual area. But it sets up the civil suits to where you only need to be a preponderance of the evidence, and then like one or two girls step forward, then it's like literally
the floodgates.
Literally 30. There was like 30 girls making suits against
what
them.
are these guys doing, man? What? are they not thinking?
I don't know. It's fetish behavior.
Yeah.
But like some people said, well, there's like a theory that like NBA players and people that are like really have the status or they're 6'4" already have it made with women, that they actually really struggle to get women when they actually have to get a woman that's also of equal value.
Mm-hmm.
Like if like Zion probably actually can't get like a 9 or a 10 in a bar, like he has to pay for it. So they do end up having these weird ways of getting women.
Well, yeah, because I mean, just because you're talented at basketball, that has nothing to do with you being able to like, you know, talk to somebody and all that kind of
I
stuff.
mean, like short guys, they gotta work for it. You know,
Is this a testimonial, Bryson?
short guys gotta work. You know, games stack the games.
But that's what he's saying. He's taking it a step further. It's like, you know, these guys, women have been, you know, when you're younger, a lot of women throw themselves at them, so they don't have any game. Basically, what you're saying, they don't have any game.
Yeah.
And so these are the things they have to result themselves to.
That's a great point. I always equate it with like fetish behavior, though. That it's just something that there's something about that setting and kind of turning something sexual that's not necessarily supposed to be sexual that turns them on,
right?
That gives them some sort of, you know, pleasure or whatever. Because to me, like how widespread it was. Like you're connecting with like literally, I think it was estimated 50, 60 different massage girls. Like if it's about a massage, I would think you might have just a few people.
Now he's
just a few people that you're comfortable getting.
He's
a
chasing that
massage.
element now.
Yeah,
of like, is she coming here for this? Is she not coming here? Can I persuade her to do this?
Yeah,
he's chasing
That's
it.
the win, you know, for him.
Yeah.
So
whatever you're into, I guess.
Don't know. What's your fetish?
I don't have none, man. I just coach the game.
I speak.
He heard it the first time.
That's why he hasn't been canceled yet.
That's why he hasn't been
They're
canceled.
building the case. Don't worry. Games will share.
I have two more for you here. Let's start with the lighter one here. There is I saw this on Instagram today, or the news or something like that, right? And my eyes are getting bad, so I can't really read.
I was gonna say
Can
mine
you
are
read?
bad too. No, Bryson, you got that for us?
As of 2026, a new Utah law makes it mandatory. Yeah. You can read it.
For extreme DUI offenders to have a no alcohol sale warning stamped on their driver license and IDs.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was interesting because it's like, well, for one, if you drink that damn much, where they're gonna put it on your ID? That's a little nuts.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is
But number two, like that's not a bad idea for like states if you're really trying to stop DUIs.
It's like
sometimes I think they're trying to get a lot of money from it or whatever. But if you're really trying to like make an impact and stop it, that's a good law.
No, it's I mean it's kind of like along the lines of chemical castration, where you can chemically castrate a sex offender. And so you're just kind of trying to eliminate the possibility that this happens.
That could even happen.
The person has proven themselves untrustworthy to function within the parameters of responsible alcohol consumption, so we're just going to take it off the table.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
No, it does. It does. Now, you're going to have some people you're cool with over the counter that are just
For sure.
don't even ID you.
Or you just send in some little 21-year-old and pay them off.
No.
So, but I like the idea. It's good.
Did you do that back in the day, Bryson?
What?
Stand out the side of the liquor store.
I've heard about some stories that
Actually,
I'm not trying to incriminate you.
But in Jacksonville, they did have one like what's it called, like gas station that didn't ID anybody.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and that's where all the college kids went.
Most cities have one.
At least one, like a rundown one.
Yeah.
I could buy that.
I like Charmaine's strip club story about you.
He has a fetish.
Was she
He
there?
has a fetish.
The only surprising part was when I saw him across the table and he was dancing.
Send
He was dancing.
send my twerking coach a drink.
Oh man, Pink, did you hear about this one, man? There was an ice raid in Minnesota.
Oh, of course, who hasn't?
And one of them was one of the officers were what's this? Says officers killed a woman.
Yeah.
What was I guess she was on a motorcycle or whatever, a motorist. I guess it's a car or a motorcycle.
You could be a car and a motorist.
But they're saying that it was self-defense.
Of course they are.
And the mayor is coming out and speaking against it and saying no way that it was self-defense.
Sure it wasn't.
I thought that was a bold move by the mayor, right? To come
The
out.
mayors of these cities don't want ICE anywhere near them.
That's bad news.
ICE is horrible. It is the contemporary Gestapo. They are funded at an incredible level. They have undertrained, ignorant people serving in it who are getting the bag with the signing bonus that's offered. This is a recipe for disaster since its inception. And this is, I mean, I hope they can spare a few thoughts and prayers, with this situation. But fuck ICE. They're a despicable stain on the country. And like most cities, like a lot of restaurants and hotels aren't serving them, aren't allowing them to come anywhere near anything. Yeah, I mean, there's a pushback against their presence, and there should be. They serve no useful purpose. Ostensibly, they are here to root out illegal immigrants. Law enforcement, and I don't like those guys either, but they can arrest people that commit actual crimes and they can convict them. And you can have an ICE that is then responsible for the follow-up deportation of an illegal alien who has committed and been convicted of a crime. These people are snatching kids and women and whatever from their houses, from cars. They're trying to show up saw a video the other day. They showed up at like a high school football practice, to look to get people. This is pure evil. And if you can't see that, you're probably Oedipus. He fucked his mom and took his own eyes.
Oh, that's a guy, person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greek
Who
mythology.
was writing those stories? Who was writing those stories?
Dude.
How do you feel about ICE, Unc?
How do I feel about it?
And what they're doing to your people particularly?
It's not necessary. I mean, well, you know what? It's a double caveat. Because here's what I mean by that. Meaning that it's not necessary going into what Brian said. But then the other thing is that, you need to put yourself, I'm a strong believer, you need to put yourself in a position where people can't do you harm. So, if you're talking about in terms of Haiti needs to get its act together to make sure they're not relying on people who cannot be relied upon. And that's the honest truth of it. So when you're dealing with, if Haiti's economy was destroyed by many countries, but you have to have accountability, meaning the accountability is not about not holding other people accountable. Thus the man comment, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't believe in the man because I believe you need to be the man. Now you need to recognize when somebody,
Except in NBA front offices.
where
the man stands tall.
I see the players are saying like, no, I'm the man. I'm the draw. So I need to get
I am the captain now.
I'm the captain now. Exactly.
He's not Somali.
But that's what I feel like. That's what I feel about it. Meaning that it's obvious what they're doing is wrong. But then now you need to be accountable. When I say accountable, meaning if you're talking about Haiti, like you need to clean yourself up to make sure you could just go home and you don't need that kind of a situation because it's negative. What do you need it? You only need it and you only feel like you need it because they feel like they got your place on lock.
Yeah.
And so now you can't go home and feel like you could thrive. No one could do it. It's like in a game of soccer. When the team is being dirty, the only way to deal with the team is don't cry to the referee. You got to put your foot up their ass. So this is the way to put your foot up his ass is you need to kick whatever is messing your country up and you need to take care of your business back home. So then when people are trying to do you like that, you don't have to be subjugated to it.
Yeah.
And that's the truth of it.
Fair enough.
What do you think about that?
Well, he's really making a different argument. You're basically saying domestically Haiti needs to tidy up their affairs so that it is a better option for Haitians to just live and prosper in Haiti.
And
but that's that. I'm fine with that. I have no argument with that. But like,
I'm not countering his
what
argument.
I do have a problem with is the racist basis for ISIS operation.
Yeah.
They're not focusing on getting rid of white people. They're picking up people of color.
Yeah.
And they're trying to whitewash this country yet again. And that I don't stand for. And for that,
But do you think you lose this sense of security, like, if you know you're illegal in the country? Do you think you should lose that security? To think that I can't be grabbed up at any moment, but I am here illegally. So that is a reality.
Wait, run that back.
Like I live with the knowledge that this is a consequence that I'm here illegally. That I could get snatched. Like the fact that it was through Trump and ICE is another story, but that was inherently
It is the way, it is a risk, but the way that they are doing this with just the massive sweeping up of people. Like I said, you could handle it. You could, whatever. Somebody could be arrested for a crime, convicted of it, and then you are turned over to ICE and you are processed for deportation. I would have no argument with that. But the idea that ICE is randomly picking people up on the street with no probable cause whatsoever, it's fundamentally opposed to any sense of the justice code.
Just food for thought. Let's say, I know this one has been politicized heavy, the Lake and Riley case, where the illegal guy ended up killing the girl in Georgia. She started running or whatever. They didn't sweep and find him, but he was capable of doing that. And I think he was convicted. Should ICE go after these guys? That they know he may have committed something in the country.
What are they going after? What is the probable cause?
Apparently he was already convicted.
Of what?
Of something in his past country. Should they actively go look for him and find him, and maybe sweep locations to find him, and while doing that, maybe they find other people?
That's a dangerous precedent.
It's super dangerous, I know.
And it's not what we should be celebrating in this country.
Yeah, I'm not celebrating. It's food for thought.
Well, no, but if you were endorsing that proposal,
I didn't endorse it. I asked food for thought. What did you think about that?
You think leaving? I thought it's yeah.
That's a layered conversation. Meaning, if you're sitting there saying that because, so you're saying because this person did this in this.
No, I'm just saying the reality of the case apparently was he was convicted already in his old country. Somehow he's still in the United States. He was
convicted in his country, came to the United States, did something a crime like that, here.
And then he did a crime, but they weren't actively looking for him or even knew that he did something
because
he's undocumented.
So your argument is that because of the prior crime, they potentially should have been looking for him and had a chance to interrupt him before committing the more recent crime.
Even if you're not saying we had to look for him because he made the crime, but the fact that someone did come in this country that was capable of that, but you didn't know, is that in itself a problem?
I mean, I think
that
school,
you don't
I think
know
school shootings. I think school shootings are a problem.
But that's a different like.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's exactly what you're saying because school shootings are always perpetrated by somebody whose behavior trends that way, and it's an issue of are we going to intercept it or are we going to wait for it to happen?
But do they have the same solution?
What is the solution?
No, but do they have the same solution? Do you think?
What are you saying is
your theoretical solution to fix school shootings? Do you think that solution would also fix the problem I just described?
I think you cannot.
If they don't, then the different problems.
I think you can't look at someone who's an immigrant because they commit a crime, and now you're attaching that to now saying that now this has to do with immigrants. That's a very dangerous game because then now you're gonna say if this race of people, a guy from this what we call race of people does something now we're just attaching that to everybody. I mean, what the hell is that guy have to do with?
I see how it's being
that
weaponized.
guy could be from Uzbekistan or wherever he was from, Uganda. I don't care. What I'm saying is, what the hell does that have to do with migrants who come here from Uganda who could even be illegal?
That's how it's being weaponized. But I'm saying, is there logic into the general saying we need to know everyone that comes to this country? And my solution would be make it super easy to come to this country. Like if you can find a job, a place to live, all that, you're allowed in this country. Just register. Period.
Now, I lived in different countries, for example, right? And there was strict with immigration where I could be walking around, I want to see your passport, or I want to see this, I want to see that. So I'm not against people trying to say, like, you need to be here legally. That's not my, argument. What I'm saying is there's a way to go about things.
For sure.
That has nothing to do with dehumanizing people. And then also weaponizing a psychology to say that because you are from this kind of a place, you are dangerous. And let's not get it twisted. I lived in New York City. Okay? You knew there were certain places in New York you can't go where certain Vladimirs live, where everyone knew don't go there because their gangs are having a war and you could get popped.
Yeah.
Right? But ain't no one doing anything to them. Because you know why? They have certain political power. Don't mess with those people like that. So let's not get it twisted. They're picking on low-hanging fruit. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. So see, when they're trying to weaponize migrants, which migrants are you talking about here? Because you're watching which ones you're talking about.
For sure.
So whatever argument they're trying to make against migrants is not even legit in the first place because they're not just including migrants. They're including.
But my argument has nothing to do with Trump saying.
Yeah, but no, I'm not talking.
That's what I'm talking about. Also, I think is a problem is that like people don't want to nuance it into an actual solution. Like you guys want to say like it's terrible that Trump is doing this. But we also have to understand.
He said a solution. He said a solution.
I said.
He said leave them.
No, he didn't. He said.
What is your solution?
No, I in terms of kicking out people that have committed a crime. I mean, we have mechanisms of law enforcement that investigate crimes, commit or perpetrate or prosecute people for crimes. Once you are convicted, I have no issue with you then being turned over to an ICE unit to process your deportation. Now, you went the other direction on the incoming side. And I agree with that. I think it should be much more of an open border concept. You welcome people, you register them, you have a background check so that you can potentially root out people that have significant criminal histories and what have you.
Exactly.
And you take away, to me, the peril of people, basically like dying trying to get here.
Exactly.
But I'm for a humane solution to this program. And so I would have a much more with the open border. And the reason why we have all this border talk is because of racism. You have simultaneously the jackass VP talking about, it's good to be white again, or whatever the hell he said. And then you're running around with this militarized force, shaking down people of color under the guise of deportation. And they're doing it with a hacksaw, not a scalpel.
And you have to be careful, like I said, about discussing criminality and migrants, because those are two different things. You understand what I'm telling you? Like somehow criminality and migrants now are like almost becoming like if you're a migrant,
and that's by intention,
you're a criminal. Yeah.
Well, people tend to believe that there's this: if you already came in illegally, you're already a criminal because you already disregarded law. But that's a different point.
That's an absurdity.
But that's a different point.
But
what I want to say is,
it's not a point. It's an absurdity. And when you mix those notions, you get the toxic environment that we have now.
Those two shouldn't even. They
should
even
never
go
cross
together.
swords.
I mean, most countries. I mean, there's a book called Stories of an Economic Hitman. I mean, there's countries that become. There's no such thing. You gotta understand. There's no such thing as a what is that
illegal
called?
person.
No, it's not even just that.
What?
There's no such thing as a poor, country. It's exploited. There's exploited
At the expense
nations.
of another.
Yes. So this whole notion, like the reason people are migrating generally is because their countries are being destabilized. So then now the same people that are destabilizing them now are pretending that they're criminals.
To some degree,
usually where the criminality is happening to those nations.
But to some degree,
which
didn't
is
that have to
forcing
happen?
the migration.
Didn't that have to happen at some point though?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't what have to happen?
If we put everyone in the same house, eventually someone's gonna start fighting. So at some
What do you
point,
mean the planet is the house? What are you talking about?
if you want to consider it like that, there had to be civilization that separated these people that thought together in this way and these guys thought in another way. And I think if we said fuck the borders and all again, it would happen again and again and again.
I'm not even talking about open borders. You could close. I said, I've been in other countries. I lived in Mexico, right? I'd be in Mexico. The cops want to know where's your paperwork, where's your this, where's your that. They have every right to do that. And if I'm not legally there, there's actually funny, statistically, there's more illegal Americans in Mexico than there is illegal Mexicans in the United States, right? So I mean, what are we talking about? So now let's say, but I'm Mexico, I'm there illegally. You have the right to move me out because I'm not here legally. But there's a way to go about it. What now is somehow you're weaponizing me being there illegally because maybe I want to hang out with my girlfriend a little bit longer or whatever I want to do. You're turning it into now I'm a criminal. That has nothing to do with it. And then, like I said, they're picking on low-hanging countries' fruit. They're not doing it to the major powers who they know are people they're politically in bed with.
For sure.
So they know those things.
I completely see through the weaponization of it. That's not a question. I think it's wrong. We all know it's wrong, unless you really agree with it. Mm-hmm. But I also don't think you solve the problem if you don't actually, to some degree, try to actually fix what they think is happening.
How many criminals are just coming?
Well,
are you talking about illegal? Are you talking about legal people?
Wait,
There's a couple things.
What do they think it is? What do you mean by that?
The same situation, not theoretically put, but the fact that, okay, we don't know who's coming into this country.
You're talking about legally or illegally?
Illegally.
Okay, you're talking about illegally. Okay.
Whether they're great people, good people, regardless. I don't even think it matters where you come from.
Who do you think is, let me ask you this. Who do you think is for people illegally coming into the country? I don't think anyone's for that.
No one, but a lot of people that do are like thinking logically. Like we're saying, yeah, it's crazy that we have ICE going in and out. Mm-hmm. Are somehow afraid to like admit that there could be a solution where everyone does register, or make that the head platform that people could actually agree on. That would be the middle ground for I think a lot of people. We just said everyone gets a background check, you just register, you have free economic opportunity. But on
So
that
you
same
think
point,
there should be open borders?
I think obviously the United States is an economic zone. It's
Okay.
not really, there's no identity to being American. You're American if you work hard. And so that's what we've been preaching. That's what it was founded on.
Okay.
But I do think there also is,
Well, that's
because I can speak from the Europe.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a different
to whatever degree. But,
That's an off the camera.
but I can also say in Europe, there's a situation where there is a lot of Muslim immigrants that came in 2015. Great people, good people, all in the middle. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But you do see that there's communities that strictly stay with Muslim people, and they're not trying to integrate into some parts of society. And that's a big discussion why the right is growing so much inside of Germany and these countries, because it's almost like we're having two societies within one society. And what people fear is that it becomes a situation where now they're the majority, and then they change everything to be
it's insecurity.
where they came from.
It
It is
is.
insecurity.
It's insecurity because I mean
it is the fragility of white people.
Yeah,
And that is probably the most destructive force on the planet.
I've never felt that someone's stopping me, and I'm born in the United States, even though I'm of Haitian descent. I'm saying I've never felt somebody is stopping me from getting anything. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I mean, if you can't speak English, how are you getting up on me?
Yeah.
I mean, getting up on me where? That you don't even have papers. What I mean, where are you getting up on me at? So all that stuff is not even real. Where are you getting up on me at? Like, you're gonna get up on me getting a job in a bank, but you don't speak English, you don't have papers, you don't have a social. So where are you getting?
We're not even competing.
You were not
in
even
the same
competing.
field.
What are you? So that's what I'm saying. Those arguments, you could come here legally as a foreigner. You can't even go and get a student loan to go to school. You have to pay for it out of pocket. So where are you getting up on an American who's
And that's the thing. We are pumped this false narrative fueled by white fragility that all of these things are an imminent threat to us. And it's bullshit.
Where is that? That's what I'm saying to you. I don't see that.
I agree 100%. Competitiveness has to remain like a central value to Americans. So you're right. People who come here also have to compete, and we're still better positioned to compete. But the question is, and this is also the thing that we're talking about in Germany and France, is like, what kind of social situation are you putting those people in that don't speak English, they don't have any money, they can't get a job, they can't get a loan? What are you really forcing them to do? Not based on what the color is, but the situation you put them in.
Rob, steal.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I mean, what else can they? Yeah, exactly. What else are they supposed to do?
Do you think so?
you can't give them papers. Do I think so?
I'm saying is.
I would really have to see the data. I wouldn't want to make a statement.
I'm saying is from my personal experience from dealing with migrant communities, right? I don't see. Usually, to be honest, it's. I'm not gonna even get into all that.
And let's give Bryson the last word of that, 'cause we do gotta get out of here. We're well past the limit here.
No.
All right.
All good. I said everything. That's in my heart. Me not making business decisions right now.
He's spoken his heart. Appreciate you guys for tuning in on the bench. Appreciate you, Mark, for tuning in and commenting. And we'll catch you guys next week on the bench.
From the Sunshine State, the great state of Florida, and what does your Uncle Charlotte always say?